Welcome to the Fourth Step Podcast. On each episode, we interview recovering addicts and learn their story with addiction. Through exploring personal journeys, we get a glimpse of the depths addicts fall to and their path in recovery. We hope you enjoy the episode. Hi, welcome to the Fourth Step Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I am an addict.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi,
my friends. Oh, that was so cool. All in unison. So this is a special episode. I'm here with three of my friends, and we're on location up in Yuba City, which is in California, somewhere out there.
Way out there.
You'll have to look it up on a map.
There's a mountain.
Yeah. It's in the middle.
It's in the middle.
So this is considered middle mountain, right?
It is, because of the smallest mountain range in the world right there.
All right. And so going around the table, we have
Steve, addict.
Hi, Steve.
Joseph, super addict.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's Joseph. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, my name's Regan, and I am an addict.
Hi, Regan.
Hi.
So we'll. It's cool to call you Ree.
Yes.
Yeah. Your friends call you Ree?
Yeah, my friends call me a lot of things.
Oh.
But Ree is acceptable.
All right. Well, that's good. Okay. So to start out with, we want to say thank you, Joe, out in Santa Rosa again, every episode for supporting our podcast, and your donation helps us with the monthly fees of producing this podcast. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we also want to plug our friends over at the Anonymous podcast. There are a couple of other recovery podcasts, and Anonymous Podcast is one of them. And there's also, besides the Anonymous Podcast, there's the Living Clean Podcast.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah. So they also have, so these are friends that have other podcasts. So please check them out. You can find them on most of your streaming apps. Cool? Cool. So let's get down to it. So I want to preface this is that we did this same recording. What was that like?
In January.
Mm-hmm. And we were on location up in Eureka, and the audio recording was so bad that we couldn't use it. So this is a redo, and I have found, I'll be honest with you guys, I have found that the redos that we've done are way better than the original.
What are you trying to say?
We were on point that night.
We were on
It was great that night.
Yeah.
Definitely live.
But it's going to be better tonight.
Okay. Bring it on.
Yeah, because it's interesting because we did this gentleman, Jason, who had a great podcast episode in the very beginning of when we first started, and I forgot to save it, which is like a huge mistake. Depressed for weeks, I blew it, but he was gracious enough a year later to come back on, and we recorded, and it was amazing. It was so much better. So I'm just saying from experience. So you know the premise. This is the Fourth Step Podcast. We ask 4-step questions, but we also want to know a little bit about your history, specifically trauma, anything that you can attach to the reasons why you got loaded. That's what we're interested in, because we could always go back through our 4-step and find, triggers or reasons or trauma or whatever, And on that front, does any of you remember experiencing trauma in childhood or teenage years? Like stuff that you can attach directly to? I saw Steve looked right at Ree. So there's something there.
Yeah, not me. I had a
You're a
perfect
liar.
life.
You're a liar.
Yes.
I didn't have anything ever go wrong.
Right. I heard your story. So I know there's trauma all over the table. So
There's two specific incidences
let's hear
for
them.
me. So the first one, I was 17, 18, and there was a break and entering in my house by a neighbor, and I was assaulted. And then when I was much later, as an adult, I was the one who found my fiance passed away. So those were the two. Yeah. It was intense. So those were the two specific incidences that I can pinpoint down.
yeah.
Of it. Yeah.
Have you talked with other people about like those specific instances? Has you shared that before?
I I don't think so, not particularly. It has come up in certain shares that I've done, but it's not something that I have like zeroed in on and highlighted it as a focal point of
Really?
the.
So like no trauma work going back over that?
I have done trauma work.
Oh,
yes,
good.
I thought you were talking about people specifically in the rooms. So
Oh, no.
My
I meant,
apologies.
like you,
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been. I've done counseling. I've done therapy, psychiatry, inner healing, spiritual formation.
yeah.
I'm very much proactive about my trauma and awareness and acknowledgement and accountability and
that's so awesome.
of like all the things and knowing what was my part in it and like what was like other people's part and like, taking appropriate responsibility for what I have done rather than trying to take responsibility for someone else and what they did.
Yeah, looking back on that, like you said, a neighbor assaulted you. Do you mind asking if I ask?
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't know if it's too personal. Then
No,
it's okay to
I'm
say
an
that.
open book, honestly, and what I feel, what I believe is that I have gone through certain things in my life that that have affected me and shaped me for who I am now, but also that it's for other people to help them as well.
So you share about it.
I do, yeah. I don't hold anything back.
Yeah.
So I was 17, 18, and I was actually living here in Yuba City, and I had a neighbor that was, how do I put this delicately? He was a registered offender, and the landlord and my family who lived on the property with me in a different house, they didn't tell me. They didn't at all. And so I was just living next to this person, and he was friendly, and he was a truck driver, and he had a dog. And so we lived in a duplex, and there was a door that connected our bathrooms. So we would open up the door when he was gone, and like
Gotcha.
we would take care of his dog. And so come to find out, after the whole incidents of the B&E, the police got involved. They raided his house, and then they found in his possession a bunch of like those cassette tapes, back in the days, like when
Video?
video recording. So he was recording me through my window without my knowledge and without my consent. And so, there was just a whole bunch of.
That was the assault?
The assault itself was when he broke into our side.
Yeah.
And then he ended up in my bedroom and assaulted me, and then
Rape? Mm-hmm. That's a tough one to talk about.
it is. And so it's not the first time that it's happened in my life. And so I feel like with the work that I've done, I feel like it's easier for me to talk about because of the work that I've done.
Yeah.
And also too, I would like to encourage other people that have experienced that have not said anything about it to do so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I have found, because I've been in your shoes before, I have found that when I do share that, I make sure it's in a specific environment. Mm-hmm. Like I've shared at meetings before or NA events about my experience. And I have had somebody come up to me afterwards and say, that was so-and-so, me too. And that person had never talked about it before either.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is absolutely 100% inspiring. So that's good for you.
Thanks.
So looking back, can you attach like reasons of getting loaded over that stuff? Is that like subconscious?
Oh yeah. So when the police were there, they came in, and I was less. This was really strange. I was less traumatized in that moment about the attack than I was of verifying myself on video. Like the moment that the police officer was handing me the video recorder, it's like, I need you to verify yourself, and so that way we can
Charge them.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like the moment that the screen turned on and I noticed that it was my bedroom and I walked in, like I had a mental and emotional breakdown, and I was unconsolable. I lost all control of my senses as a human being. And my mom at that moment, she's like, okay, she gave me a choice. She's like, okay, you have to take this Valium, or you have to smoke this weed, or they're going to take you to the hospital.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
I'm an addict from addicts, like it is what it is.
You're a great teacher.
I have a bit of a phobia of hospitals. And so, I made a decision, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to weigh the pros and cons of which one to take, and I already knew who I was and where I was from and what cloth I was cut from, and so I tried to go the more natural route, and so that was the first of
the rest.
The rest.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from there.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah. Yeah, pot is because it's from nature. Mm-hmm. Duh, and it's not addictive. Duh. I know. Well, that's cool that you connected that right away. Mm-hmm. So what about you, Jason?
Thank you for sharing that, Reed.
Yeah.
Great. I'm Joseph. I'm a super addict. And
why are you super addict?
Because he's fabulous.
Are you just unique? You're not like us?
Man, so I always, I don't know, I do know why I identify as that, but so I've learned in the rooms that we are not unique and that we are all the same. But when I think of calling myself an addict, I'm like, I'm more than an addict. I'm a super addict. And I say that because I tried to quit using drugs 100,000 times. Never could do it. I went through some really bad stuff. Not once, not twice, a handful of times. The same thing over and over and over again. I mean, you got to be a super addict to just not be able to quit, And so when the book or when the program teaches us that we're not unique and we're all the same, I think everybody's a super addict, I just like to call myself that, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so the trauma that I can connect to me, I've done a lot of prying and digging and self-help and stuff like that, and I think it just comes down basically to I never felt good enough, drugs kept me plugged in. I had friends when I did them. I felt liked. It was something that I had that nobody else had. And childhood-wise, I guess that comes from, everybody in my family was an addict. They were criminals, addicts. And so from an early age, my first memories are, I was 9 years old and did a line of meth. I remember I got caught smoking weed and was told that I couldn't smoke weed until I was 13, but I was still staying up every night, not every night, but, still in my parents' meth and doing it and staying up all night, and they'd know that I was high.
What was your early experience with getting high? What was the very first time you got high?
So what's funny is when I look back on those times, another time, we knew somebody that their parents were a bartender, and so we'd go drink all their alcohol.
How old?
This was before 9. This was 7, 6.
All right.
Somewhere around there.
So you were getting loaded.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that in my early childhood, when I did that line of meth and stayed up all night and didn't sleep, I don't ever remember feeling euphoric or high or anything like that. When I drank all that liquor and my brother went to the hospital for alcohol poisoning, I don't remember feeling any different. I was still just a kid.
All right, so you weren't chasing it yet?
Wasn't chasing, I was just doing it to fit in. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and, of course, with growing up in such poverty, and we were homeless living at the river for years, in a van, me and my 5 siblings.
Did you?
When
you say you're down at the river in a van, I
Yeah.
can't get Chris Farley out of my head.
Right. I don't know how all 5 of us fit in there. Sometimes we'd have a broke down vehicle and some of us would sleep in there and others would sleep in another car. But that went on for years. And I remember one of the memories that I share with a lot of people is that the elementary school that I went to, we went to 20 of them, they had a canned food drive. and the teacher just gave me all the food. It was
Yeah.
like, I know that you need this. And that's been my story throughout my whole life, middle school, elementary, high school, like all my teachers,
So where's the trauma come in?
I think what people,
yeah.
if I may, what people often don't see that I see as a professional that worked with children and families is that neglect is one of the worst forms of trauma.
Yeah.
When parents neglect to care for their kids, it creates its own trauma in the family system. And people often overlook that trauma in favor of events that occur. And they fail to work on the neglect that occurred in their lives that created the trauma in the first place. Yeah. So that's just something.
No, that's a great point. That's
And that's what I was trying to get at is that, like I've had millions of traumas. I mean, like I've never been raped, but sexually molested, beaten, neglect, I mean, like there's a handful of them that I could go through, but I don't think any one of those created me or caused me to use, like I think it was everybody else was doing it, and I just wanted to be like everybody else. And as I aged and drugs were readily available to me and nobody else could have them,
Yeah.
it was a way that people liked me.
So eventually you can look back and you can see where it was fun, recreational, then fun and trouble, and then just trouble.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought that up, Steve, because that was part of the second part of the trauma question is like, for me, I had two different traumas. I had specific event traumas like you talked about, and then I had systemic lifelong traumas that happened in my family. And so I've dealt with the specific problems, and I didn't know that the lifelong systemic problems or trauma happened until I uncovered the first.
Right.
And so now I'm in trauma therapy again, dealing with that hidden trauma of the probably you would call it patterns of abuse that happened in a long period of time. For me, it was 35, 40 years. So that's interesting. And it's really cool that you brought that up. So you look back and you can go, oh, I see where it became an addiction.
Yeah, it became an addiction in my 20s, like until when my grandmother passed away, and then like I was truly on my own. Things worked out for a while, but then they didn't. And when I didn't have that safety net, I realized that, hey, I'm a drug addict and I have a problem. Yeah, that was in my 20s though. I'd been using every day since 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the progression of things. I remember thinking, man, if I'm going to do drugs, I might as well sell them, and it's just always progressing. It never stops.
So many of us are businessmen.
Yeah.
We come in, that somebody else told me that years ago. It says we come into the program where we're businessmen, we're doctors, and we're lawyers. Or no, and they said chemists too. Because we're lawyers because we know everything about the law and you're violating my rights and blah, blah, whatever, right? And a man's always wrong. And we're chemists because we would take this one drug and mix it with this drug to make this happen for us. And
that was me. I stacked my drugs.
Yeah, see?
For sure.
But you're a good chemist.
Yeah, for myself.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I'm glad you that you saw that even the neglect and abuse of poverty has an event, right? It's could be years.
Yeah.
That's a lifelong thing. So that's cool.
Yeah. It's an ongoing process. I continue to work on stuff, uncover those events that happen, like you were saying, and worked on them a few times. Counselors, therapists, most importantly, my sponsor, doing the steps.
You got a pretty cool sponsor.
I do. I do.
Yeah, so let's get to him.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
What? Wait.
Yeah. You, well, you and I like shared work together and stuff, step work, but you remember your childhood and teenage years and,
I do. So Steve Attic,
Hi, Steve.
I can't say there was any neglect. My mom was a great mom, but my family was in the drug trade.
Yeah.
And there's consequences for that, you know. So I remember finding my Uncle Jimmy dead in the car in the garage from a heroin overdose, and my stepdad like threw me in the back seat and
how
drove.
old were you?
I was 9.
Yeah, that's
10.
pretty young. Find a dead body.
Yeah, so in those days, if somebody died of an overdose in your house, you'd cop a beef for murder. So he threw me in the back seat, and we drove the car down to the marina, and we left it there and walked home. And so
Oh,
he was found the next day.
wow.
I been in the house when the doors have been bust down during a raid and thrown on the ground and shotgun in the back. And I think one of the scariest times was when I was 19 and my sister decided that she was going to rip off one of these dealers in Crockett because she was mad at her. And her brother came to my house in Vallejo and knocked down my door and beat me with the butt of a shotgun and was kidnapping me. He was dragging me to his van, where I'm pretty sure he was going to leave me dead on her doorstep. But I managed to break away and run. And,
Holy shit.
just my uncle suiciding in my mom's bathroom by cutting through his jugular vein with a steak knife.
That's two uncles?
So
The first one in the car? Was
right.
That an uncle?
Yes, I had a third uncle that died with a shotgun, with a gun. He was breaking in a house. He was paranoid in San Pablo, and he was running from the cops. And he saw a house with a for sale sign. He thought it was empty, and he broke into it. I was a retired cop who lived there, and the cop shot through the bedroom door. He shot low, like he meant to hit the lower or upper abdomen, but my Uncle Roger was only 5'3", so he shot him in the heart,
Oh, my
so he
God.
died. But Uncle Jerry, actually it was in my first couple of years of recovery in 1996. He went in my mom's bathroom and tore his jugular vein open with a steak knife. And because we were poor, I didn't have the life I have today. We couldn't afford the cleanup crew, which was like $1,500 back then. So my husband and I drove out to Vallejo, and we cleaned up the whole 4x6 bathroom with 2 liters of blood, like all over the walls, all over the floors. It was one of the most traumatic things I've ever seen. I don't think I slept for like 3 months after. I went on Ambien for a short time, but it was causing me to fall asleep during the day and be a zombie. So I got off of that and started therapy. And that's when I first started to address through behavioral health my traumatic history. Prior to that, I had done step work around the other events that I talked about, but I myself wasn't in the field of behavioral health at that time. I was doing substance abuse, so I didn't have any perspective to compartmentalize, the things that I had experienced in life.
Yeah.
So,
So like your traumas ranged from childhood all the way into like young adulthood too.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a long time to suffer.
Yeah, I seem to have a life that has been rich in that quality.
Yeah. Did you ever find relief from the traumas through like therapy or anything?
Yeah, I did. I did find relief from that particular trauma, which was more of a first-person experience with the blood and stuff that was really traumatic. I think after being kidnapped when I was 19, or attempted kidnap, I I think I used so much drugs until I was like 30 when I stopped that it kind of covered it up and buried it nice and deep, So it took me longer to dig that out.
Yeah.
And figure that
I
piece
can relate
out.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of them were buried pretty deep in there. But I even remember like going into San Pablo once. My uncle had gotten out of San Quentin, and he asked this guy whose name was, sorry,
That's all right.
Les is long dead. He's gone from this earth, as is his family. And so he asked him to give him a ride over to his son-in-law's house. And unbeknownst to Les, he shot him several times. And so we were in San Pablo with my uncle, me and my girlfriend, Tammy. And Les came out of a trailer park and with a gun and pointed at my uncle and was going to shoot him there in the street. And I told my friend, like, let's get under the car. So we were watching, and, I knew what to do. My mom had trained me what to do. So I was like, just stay here. And so my uncle was like in his face, like pressing the gun and telling him, go ahead and shoot me. And I mean, they had this huge fight out in the middle of the street, but it ended up with them hugging. So it was this weird, like, how can you get to the point where you're going to kill somebody, but then wind up hugging and loving on them?
That's just how we roll. We're messed up, man.
Yeah, very fucked up.
Yeah.
Very fucked up.
I mean, you can't get any better than that.
So those were my role models.
Yeah. I've been around that in my teenage years, and not knowing from minute to minute if this guy is going to kill me or if that guy is going to kill me.
Yeah.
The circles that we hang out, sometimes we have to go there. So your trauma that you've done work around, looking back, can you pinpoint like, oh, this is clearly the area or timeline that I like really use drugs to hide the way I feel, or was it just gradual?
I started using nicotine when I was 5. I was on a pack a day when I was 11. I started marijuana when I was 7. When I was 12, my uncle gave me my first line of crank, and when I was 15, I had a needle of heroin in my arm. So I think a lot of my trauma was the fact that my dad had left when I was 4, and that was interesting. Every time he came home, my mom's current boyfriend and him, whoever it was, would like fist fight for hours out in the front yard, and so I think my original trauma is from him, and so I've gone all the way back. I've had, if you count all the years of therapy that I've had, about 15 years of therapy on and off. Whenever a new thing comes up, I'll go back. I had the same therapist for about 10 years, but she's retired to Israel now. So.
Yeah. I know when you find a good one and you trust them, it's hard to give them up.
It is.
Yeah.
She wants to repeat everything. She was really good about remembering. She'd pull shit out of her hat that I hadn't said in 9 years.
Yeah. I love that.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a therapist when I was, probably in my early 30s.
Yeah.
And I had been married and got divorced. And my oldest brother, who I've hated my entire life, started dating my ex-wife. And they eventually got together. But when he called me, he was like, hey, I just wanted you to hear it from me first. I'm going to start, I'm dating your ex-wife.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And I had I think I had like 7-8 years clean, maybe more. And I was like on the phone with him, and I was like, you do whatever you got to do. I can't change your mind. Right. And hung up. And Jen was standing next to me, and she goes, who the hell are you? But in my head, I was like, still the same old person. I was thinking how long it would take me to get home to get my gun.
Yeah.
And then what's the best time of night to kill him?
Yeah.
Right? Because all that stuff still rolled around in your head at that early recovery time,
That's
so
what
I get
I'm experiencing right now, is that like knowing, like when I'm placed in certain situations, like when my feelings get hurt or when I see like injustice or, just certain things that normally would trigger me in the past, and like how I would act out in my character defects. And like now being in early recovery, I just, I have a little bit of time, but I'm like, okay, well, I know what not to do, even though this is what I want to do.
Exactly.
And so I'm trying to
Yeah.
I try to force myself to do the correct thing when I really just want, to do what I've done my entire life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool that you said that. A lot of times with the guys that I work with, the part where your survival skills that were saved your life and before we got clean are the ones that don't serve us today, but they still go on upstairs, in your head.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can ever.
I don't know either. And it's like I see this with recovery, and then I also see this with mental health at the same time, right? And so sometimes, being aware of something doesn't necessarily change the outcome. You know what I mean? It's the decision and action and what you do. My mental illness is over here. This is how I normally would act out, but through therapy and through working the steps, this, I already know, working this out in my head by playing a tape forward, that if I do this, this is the incorrect decision for me to make, even though my entire being is programmed to act this way.
Right.
So I have to completely reprogram and do what I think is, correct.
We no longer stab people, right? I'm just saying.
But I want to.
I know. But that's so cool that you talk about it that way, because you're talking about response and react.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And I use those
just-
words all the time.
You just said it out loud. That's so cool.
There's a big difference between them, and I really try to have that be at the forefront of my mind. And either I can respond or I can react to the situation.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I react, that is the incorrect decision.
Yeah.
And so if I can respond accordingly, then things probably will work out, cohesively as I would like for it to.
Very cool. I forgot to do it in the very beginning, but Ree, what's your clean time? How long you got clean?
Oh, okay. So June 8th, we just celebrated 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Joseph, 5/1/2017.
Can you do the math?
I just celebrated 8 years.
Hey.
And not that it matters.
It does matter.
No, I mean, what I was going to say next.
I don't know.
What I was going to say next, I was going to say that it doesn't matter, is that the first, I think, close to 5 years of that was in prison. A lot of people are under the myth, or a lot of people say, it doesn't count when you're in prison. And I just want to tell you that in prison, there's plenty of drugs everywhere. And a lot of people I heard a lot of people tell me that, why are you getting clean now? Well, just wait till you get out. You can use in here and literally have no repercussions.
Yeah.
You can't go to jail. You're already in jail. You might as well just use until you get out. But at that point, I'd known that I'd had enough and I need to change my life.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I started in there.
Nice. I'm going to take those cards away from you.
I'll pick this up.
Yeah. As long as you don't make noise.
I think that does matter because, for me, when I came back, into recovery, for 10 months, I was in a residential program, and that was a controlled environment. And for me, that was hard enough as it is. So I'm trying to imagine myself in another controlled environment to where that was part of the ecosystem. And I think that's pretty BA, honestly, to have 5 years. That's great. Yeah. I think it's wonderful.
Did you say 2018? 2017.
17.
I was going to say.
So you did 5 years down clean?
So I got sentenced to 10 years.
Yeah.
And the first year or 2 years, I was still getting high. I was still using. I was still getting in trouble, still suffering the repercussions from it. And the last time I used, I was selling wax for somebody, which is
I just learned what wax was.
Yeah, synthetic THC, and I probably had a gram of it. I owed the guy a few $100 for it, and I was on lockdown, and whatever happened, and addict I am, I smoked it all up. smoked it all up. And to this day, I never thought the last time I got loaded would just be on weed, you know? I always had this grand idea that my last time using was going to be this spectacular event.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And,
Like Tony Montana with the giant pile
Caesar's
of coke.
Palace Suite.
Yeah.
Like hookers.
Yeah.
Say hello to my little friend.
And while we're on recording, this is
You're a baller.
this is a big piece of my story that helped me change. Was that I realized that I've had that mentality forever, that my last time using was going to be spectacular. You know, like I went to I had to have at least an ounce, and then once I did that, I was like, oh, it needs to be better than that. So I'd get a motel room, get some girls, have the ounce, have some liquor. Wasn't good enough. Had to move the bar again. You know, and so I just kept moving the bar. And when I finally surrendered, when it was just that last time, I didn't even know that was going to be my last time using. But I realized that you can't have that mentality of you got to go out with a bang, because the bang's never going to be big enough.
Well, yeah, it could be big enough. That's when you're dead.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the best.
big bang.
Yeah, when you go out with a
big bang.
bang, that's the bang.
I got another good piece of advice too along the way, is that I had a sponsor one time that asked me, he goes, "What's your drug of choice?" And I said, "I guess I would say meth, you know?" And he said, "Man, I wish you would have said heroin, you know?" And I was like, "Why would you say that?" And he's like, "Well, at least that if your drug of choice was heroin, you could hope to OD one day. But since you're a meth addict, you're just going to end up spending the rest of your life in prison."
Wow.
You know?
Not
And
anymore. Meth
Right.
today is like,
Fentanyl laced meth.
oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
you never know now.
Yeah. But
That scares the crap out of me. Is that like somebody we know, or a kid, one of our kids? Like, just, I'll smoke this one joint. Didn't know. Gone. Happened recently. Anyway, so 4-step questions.
Sure.
Steve's clean date. Missed that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
It's okay.
You're paying attention. I'm not.
My trauma's being triggered. I'm neglected.
Well, good thing your sponsor's close by.
Yeah, that's right. My sponsee is saving me. Yeah, my clean date is October 5th, 2016.
And that means
Yeah, you got to do the math
the
for us.
math.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
How many years
God willing, 8 right now.
right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
In October, if God willing, the creek don't rise, I'll have 9 years this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're the one that said do the math for us, because usually on every episode that's me.
I thought you just wanted to know our clean date. I thought you guys calculated. You
Yeah,
could
no,
do the math
I can't do
yourself.
math, and
Oh,
I
I
say
see.
it every episode that I won't do math on air because I
I've
look like
hired
a
a
fool.
tutor for my son because I don't do math either.
I got learning disabilities, and I've learned throughout special ed for all those
That's
years
what
to
you do.
not be
What happens when you
ashamed.
say something in a crowd of addicts? They one up you all the time. So now she's going to learning disabilities, and then you'll say what?
Yeah, can you do better than a learning disability?
Yeah, buddy.
Come
Top
on.
that.
Got a speech impediment?
No,
A learning disability?
Bree trumps you. Sorry. I don't know.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So the question now is, and I'm glad that you caught that Steve's clean date. I appreciate that. The question about the 4-step question is usually I wanted to know about your fears, and so we don't have to go into every single fear, but think about like your most prominent fear, like first before recovery, when you first got here, and do you still have fears today? So, Bree, you can go. You want time to think about it?
I don't think I need it. I will, just for my own benefit, reiterate. You see, so our fear when we first came in,
Sure,
and then what our fear is now.
if you have any. We all have fears.
When I came back to the program, I was completely terrified that I was going to relapse again. Like I was afraid that I didn't have enough self-control and self discipline to stay clean, and I was not relying on the conscious contact with my higher power and his will for me and like all of this stuff to
Were
where like
you in tune with all of that when you first got clean? Your higher power and
oh yeah, I've had a conscious contact with my higher power for as long as I can remember.
way before you got clean.
Yeah, my even though my family were addicts, they were very spiritual, and so they it was their mission in life to make sure that all of the offspring were well.
Offspring.
Yeah. Yes. Offspring. So yeah, I'm very thankful, and I've talked about this with my sponsor, that like I do consider myself completely blessed and lucky, and have a little bit of advantage that that I didn't have to go through the process of finding a higher power. Like my higher power found me at a very
You had a leg
young
up when
age.
you got here.
I did.
That's
I did.
cool.
So, and just because I had that doesn't necessarily mean that like I was in relationship with my higher power when I came back in, into the program. I was still thinking I had to do everything on my own, and I put the burden all on myself. And so I had this really tangible fear that I was going to fail myself. And so through working the steps and therapy and my support system and a kick-ass sponsor, like my views have been corrected a lot.
Cool.
So I'm very thankful. And now, because of my current state with my higher power, like I don't like really have fears. Like I'm not afraid. I'm not fearful. Like I have found myself in a number of situations these past couple of years where I can see that I would have handled things completely different in a very negative way, and to where like I'm serene in these situations that would break me before. But like I do have a reservation, and that reservation.
Get to that.
Okay, so my fear is my reservation.
All right.
So I don't know if you want me to answer that now or.
Well, reservations on another topic, so we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Just remember that.
Sure.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to push onto you or all of you that we all have fears, even current day. It's just all of the work that a lot of us have done over the years, talking years, is that we drill down into a specific feeling that we're having, and underneath that feeling,
I do a lot of yes, I totally agree. And getting down to the root of what it is, and and I'm the type of person, like I see emotions and feelings and dysregulation as symptoms. Okay, this is a symptom, so let me backtrack to what the root is, because I need to address that in order to change the way that I feel, or to have a correct perspective on things. And so I'm constantly like, this is the type of stuff that is all day, every day in my head. And so, like, when I say that I don't have...
busy.
Yeah, very busy. Oh, absolutely. 100%. But I do feel like it's productive. And so for me, like, going back to, like, I really don't have fears, like I don't mean to say that in an arrogant, condescending, self-righteous way.
Yeah.
What I mean when I say that is that I have had this opportunity to submit and surrender to my higher power and his will, and knowing that throughout my life, that my higher power has taken care of me, has always provided for me. So like when it comes, like before, I was worried about gas in my car. I was worried about not being able to make it to a meeting. I was worried about like not finding a place to sleep because I was homeless. I was worried about like not having, the bills, like all these things that are like that were outside of, not outside of my control, like, but certain fears I don't fear death. Like we were talking about that earlier. Like
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that.
So this is just my perception, outsider's perception.
Oh,
What it sounds like is that any fear that ever comes up for you now, however short period of time it is, you look at that and you go, oh, well, I'm okay. Like immediately it's addressed because you have faith. Does that sound,
Yeah.
does that track for you?
Yeah.
Like even if a fear does come up, you're like immediately like, hey, I don't need to fear this. I'm okay.
Yeah. You can
I
see
think
that.
too, like, I don't know if your experience is your experience.
Yeah.
But I recall, because I spent 22 years in the predecessors program, and there's a passage that says, we are driven by 1,000 forms of fear. And to me, that like anxiety is fear, worry is fear. There are things in our life that we're not afraid of, but do they have a root in fear? There's a possibility, so just looking at those being the corrosive thread that runs through our life, I think is something I try to examine all the time. Like, what is fear? Because I too don't fear death. I fear that my child might die. That's like my biggest fear. Like I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't know if I would stay clean. I hope I would. I plan on it. I don't actually know what would happen if that occurred, and that's a fear of mine. I fear the dog dying because I know it'll affect my son. I don't fear it for me, but I know, the first time you lose a pet, it's a big fucking deal. And I don't want him to have to go through it, but I know someday he will. And so those are the things that I fear today.
Yeah. Steve, you've got that grasp of the open-minded perception of fear being attached to other stuff. That's kind of what I was getting at. I'm not saying that's what's going on for you, but just taking a step back, changing the perspective, fear is attached to so many things that we might not even see. And I've experienced that with especially with children, my kids. I have 3 kids, and so every little thing is a fear of this happening.
You and I were talking about earlier safety. It's
Yes.
a big issue for both of us.
Yeah,
My home is my sanctum, and I'm careful who I invite into my inner circle. And that stems from a place of fear. It stems from the not feeling safe as a child by the kinds of people that were coming to my home. And I see it as such. I recognize that I'm not a controlling person, but I control my environment. I control it pretty regimentally,
We make choices.
We make choices, and I know that those choices in part are born out of a fear that no longer exists in me, but because of the unsafety I had, I fear letting people in that might cause disruption and interrupt my harmony, because I value my harmony.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I value
Yeah,
most.
Steve and I were talking about that earlier about safe is a construct that we want to live in because we were unsafe our entire lives. I don't know if you can relate to that. So that's very cool that you have that. I like it. And
Joseph, I feel I'm Joseph, super addict.
Super Joseph.
Yeah, listening
Super
to
Joseph.
Steve and Ree, I felt so lucky that I'm here with 2 great people, and that we all, this program.
Listen, I want to kiss him right now. Can
This
I kiss
program
him?
has taught us all so much, and to know that where I came from, and to see where they've come from, and to see how far they've come, and that I'm on the same page with them at the same 100%. Without this program, I lived a life in fear. I feared everything. I feared the future. I feared death. I feared poverty. I feared helplessness. I had so many fears, and today those same fears still crop up. But now I have faith. You know, I know that everything's going to be okay. I can look back at what this program's taught me and how much time I've wasted on those fears when they don't even materialize, and that even in situations where my fear has come true, this program's walked me through it, and I came out better on the other side. And I would never have achieved that without having gone through that.
So do you see, once you're on the other side of that, looking back and going, well, that fear was unfounded?
Yeah, and
Like, I'm going to be okay.
And I have that same faith in any situation that comes.
Yes.
You know, a healthy fear that, like related, which I think most of us in the program do have, it's a healthy fear that we don't ever want to go back to where we came from, that we don't want to relapse. You know, we do these steps, we go to these meetings, we take suggestions, we do the work because we don't want to go back there.
Right.
Why don't we want to go back there? It has to be a fear.
Fear of fentanyl.
Yeah.
Scares the shit.
Excuse me, can you dub that out?
Yeah.
Bombs.
I do think that it's pretty rare that three people sitting together don't fear death. I don't know. Do you fear death?
That's funny you say that. Like, I don't share this very often. I think about death, like quite often.
Yeah.
I don't know what quite often means. I think it comes up in my life maybe once every 4 months or so.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Like, I really contemplate the end of life.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's fear of death, because you know, I'm gonna die.
It's sad.
Those are two different things. Sorry. Those are two different things, though, right?
Yeah.
The end of life, to me, is different than fearing death.
What sort of emotion is attached to when you're contemplating it, too?
Yeah, it's not fear though.
Well, it's,
For me,
yeah, that might,
it's just a contemplation.
Might help, you know, with the question. Like,
Yeah.
if there's not a fear emotion that's attached to it, then, you know.
There are fears not attached to me like passing away, but fears of like the outcome of that. Are my children going to be okay? Is my wife going to be okay? Fear of the pain that they're going to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and that's I don't know if that's something that you can get rid of. I have no idea. I don't try to. It's just something that rolls around. You asked, and it just rolls around in my head every once in a while. I can't say that I fear death, but I think I contemplate like the end of life a lot.
So finish your thought. You said it's rare when you have three people that don't fear death, but you were going somewhere with it, and we got segued.
Yeah,
we got sidetracked.
I was at the end right there. I was going to say it's not sad or morbid the way that, you know, like I don't welcome death, but like I believe there's something better, you know, and so like I'm doing my time here, you know, like I'm being of service. I'll miss my loved ones, you know, and like Kevin said, I fear for them, you know, because I've seen some people go off the deep end when somebody they love dies, you know. I've taken measures myself, like I've told my mom and my sisters and, you know, people that are close to me, like, hey, when I die, this is what I want, you know, like, and, you know, like I try to prepare them, but other than that, like when my time comes, I'm ready, you know, and so, and a lot of people would take that as like, oh, he's depressed or he's sad or he wants to die, and that's not how I want it to come across. I just, you know, fear of death is not a fear that I have.
So over the years, that perspective, what you're talking about, with quite a few people, we've talked about this, and it becomes apparent that you're content with where you are, with your life. Like, sure, you want better, sure, you want more, or whatever it is, but when death shows up, you're a pretty good person.
Yeah.
I'm a good person right now.
Yeah.
Does that ring true for you?
Yeah, it rings true. There's a fear attached to that I thought about when you said it, is that I do, like I said before, I have a faith that everything will work out, but there is that fear of helplessness, that fear of going back to poverty and not being able to provide for yourself. And, I still suffer that sometimes. And I spend lengths and lengths of time today preparing for the future, and can you take any of that stuff with you? You can't, but, I would fear to be in that limbo of helplessness and poverty, but
I get it.
it's a waste of time to worry about that stuff. So you just live life and do the best you can.
Worry
Yeah.
is to waste.
There is a lesson for you in this.
I like lessons.
So yeah. So where are you right now? You have a job?
Yes.
Got your own place?
Yes.
And things are good?
Things are good.
If we take all that away from you and you're in poverty, do you feel that you can get back to that?
Absolutely can.
So that sometimes can help get over that fear.
Yeah.
I've been with all the things and lost all the things and went back to check by check, paycheck by paycheck. And
Yeah.
but I had learned the lesson that what to do to get that stuff back. Not that I need the things, but to provide or whatever it is.
No, I feel that 100%. When my first husband died, we had just been homeowners for like 3 years. And we had just bought this place. And we had it for, I think, 4 years before he passed. When he passed, we had a mortgage based on 2 incomes. And suddenly I had more debt than I had income. And it was a very troubling time because I, like Scarlett O'Hara, never planned to go hungry again. You know what I'm saying?
I just watched that.
I know, right?
Wait,
Never.
what movie is that?
That's Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
I swear, as God is my witness, I will never go hungry again. That's what she says. I remember breaking piggy banks to buy a jar of peanut butter to last us a week and a loaf of Wonder Bread. Like, I remember what poverty was, and I never want to go back there. And I did everything I could. I paid off every single bill I could with the life insurance money. It was very little. It was like a $70,000 policy. So I had medical bills from him and credit card debt we had incurred and a second mortgage, and I paid everything off. And then I was still like income to debt ratio was not happening. So I rented out rooms in my house so I could make the house payment. But I was determined not to lose the one piece of like tangible like wealth that I had, which was the equity in my home. I
Right.
did not want to sell my home. So I did whatever I could to keep it. And then things got better.
Yep.
And things got different, and the housing crisis happened, and that allowed me to pick up a few more homes. I've spent a long time putting money in different pockets so that if anything bad happens, I won't have to go hungry again, But I think, on this subject of death, it's really interesting because I don't fear death because I've experienced it so much. And there's a time before Donald died, my second husband. My first husband had died. I think I had buried probably 50 people over the years. I worked in the AIDS industry. I lived through the AIDS epidemic. There was a dozen or so funerals a week all the time. Probably 2 or 3 of them I knew. And I was at the bedside of many, many people that died, all my aunts and uncles, my moms, my best friends' fathers. And there was a time when I thought I was going to be a death doula. I'd become so used to it.
Really?
And I knew exactly what to, how to comfort people and how to explain what was going to happen and what the process of hospice was. And it was rote to me, like it was memory. And I used to joke that in my next life I was going to come back as a Grim Reaper. And then my second husband died, became ill with terminal cancer, and I lost my shit because my first husband had died. And when I married my second husband, I did research. His mom was 90, his dad lived a long time, his family all lived a long time. And I was literally not going to marry him if they had any kind of weird shit going on.
So there's a fear right there.
It was a big fear. And he ran 11 miles a day. He had the blood pressure of a 7-year-old, and he was healthy as a horse. And then, he died, and I lost my shit. So no matter how exposed you are, how ready you are to help other people process, there are going to be those events in your life that just are too much. For me, that's what the root of my relapse was.
Yeah, that's a lot.
There's something I'd like to share right now. I don't share it a lot anymore. I used to share it occasionally. It's that I still feel a little weird sharing it. But so in my existence, I've tried to commit suicide 3 times, and the first time, I'm 8 years old. I don't know what 8-year-old tries to kill themselves, but
You'd be surprised.
I don't know why I even did it, but I took a whole handful of aspirins, and 8 years old, I was like, I want to kill myself. I want to die. Ate a whole handful of aspirins. Didn't tell anybody or anything, and I don't even remember getting sick. Maybe they're like non-aspirin aspirins, but I was a kid. I thought that would kill me, and I did it. The second time I tried.
But so, did you get your stomach pumped or something?
No, like
Nothing?
Maybe they weren't aspirins. I don't know. Maybe they were non-aspirin aspirins or something. I don't know.
Baby aspirin?
Yeah, I was 8 years old, and I just wanted to kill myself, and I seen it on TV. Maybe I don't know where the idea came from, but I did it. I took the whole bottle. Nothing happened. I don't even remember getting sick, but I do remember that. I want to die. Let's eat all these pills.
At 8.
Yeah, at 8. Yeah, and the second time I tried to OD is I had just started doing drugs intravenously, and it was like somewhere in my early 20s, I think, maybe 19.
Yeah.
And so I heard that if you just shoot a lot of drugs, you'll die. And so I took a whole syringe, as much meth as I could put in there, and I did it, and I threw up, and I got all sick and all that stuff, but I didn't die. And it turns out that it's rare that you OD on a shot of meth, I've heard of it happening, but anyways, that was my second attempt at suicide, All the people, everybody says you shoot up a whole bunch of drugs, you're going to die. I guess maybe it's only heroin or rare cases of meth, but either way, I thought it was going to kill me. I did it. I lived. And then my third attempt, and this is the last attempt that I had, and I'll share why it was my last attempt. I've felt like suicide plenty of times along the way. I've taken antidepressants for years, and only recently been off of my antidepressants for about a year now.
Really?
Yep. But I've went off and on for over 10 years. I've had all the range.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I tried to work on depression for a long time, but my third and last attempt, I was standing in a bathtub, and I heard that, I've seen it on TV, you just throw the radio in the bathtub and you're going to shock and die, right? And so I had the shower going, I was crying my eyes out in the bathtub, standing up, radio's blaring whatever song, and I slip. And I start juggling the radio around. And I catch the radio before it hits the bathwater. And I was so happy. I was so happy that I did not do it. And I rode that high probably for like a day or two. And anytime that thought's come into my mind again, I'm like, I remember wanting it so bad. And then when it didn't happen, I was so happy.
That's interesting.
And so no matter how far down I get now, I don't think that that's the answer.
Yeah, and hopefully hopefully anybody that has experience or is going to experience suicide or thoughts of suicide gets the help they need. When you said about 8 years old, I just had to look it up. 78 documented suicide deaths in children aged 6 to 9 years old a year.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a break real quick.
Break time.
And we'll be back. So we closed out fears.
Fears are done.
Okay. So we covered fears. Welcome back, by the way. And thank you for the coffee, Steve.
You are welcome.
Good coffee.
Yeah. So fears, and you were talking about a reservation. So you want to roll into that?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Let's roll into reservations.
So my reservation is if anything tragic happens to Fezzik, my sir.
Your service dog.
Yes. Yes. Like if he's lived a good long life, then like I can be content with that. I'll be sad. Like I have the tools and I know where to go. If I need to get more tools, I will know how to handle that. But if anything tragic happens to him before his time, like that is my reservation. That is my fear. That is my reservation. Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm curious, like, what's the outcome of the reservation? Is that something like you would get loaded over?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hope that we get to change that.
Yeah. And I also know like I have my fellowship, I have my support group, I have my sponsor, I have my family. Like I surround myself with the support that I need. So I know where to go and who to turn to if something like that were to ever happen.
Have you heard people share about losing their pets at meetings before?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they possibly have. I have a memory loss, so I don't know.
So I understand now. I put the 2 and 2 together about your reservation and fear. Mm-hmm. So fear if something happens is also your reservation.
Correct.
I get that.
Yes.
Man, I get that. I've got animals that I love so much. I have lost animals that I loved tremendously and broke down. Yeah.
I'm a little curious. I don't want to pry. It's just curiosity. What is tragic? Death is tragic. Cancer.
Hit by a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit by a car.
I get you.
Yeah. And so because like death, like as you were talking about, like you've seen a lot of death, and death has been a part of your life. And so like same thing for me too. And like not only like finding death, but like watching it in real time. And so like that is tragedy within itself. And like I've like my cat that we were talking about earlier. He passed away when I was while I was at work, and I had to come home and take care of it. And so, but like for me, I believe the reason why it like I have experience with death, and like him passing away naturally, fine. Like if I see him suffering, I'm going to take him to the vet and have him suffer no more. Like that is good. But like being hit by a car or, viciously attacked by another animal, and I wasn't there to, to intervene, things.
Tragic.
Tragic.
I get it.
Tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That clears it up.
You got me on pets, man. That's,
That was all. That's all it took.
yep. Yeah. So did you have a reservation? Can you think of one that you had like when you first got clean? Or any other reservations that you were thinking of?
Oh, I do. Yes. Another one. I remember us talking about this in January. Another reservation that I had, I don't know if I still have it, but it's like one of those things, how you were talking about, like, your last time using and like you plan it all out and like big to do and what you're going to, all the things.
The Big Bang.
Yeah. And so like one of the things was, like if I was diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Ooh.
So for me, don't fear death. I welcome it. Like I'm looking forward to it. However, like if the way that my mind sees it currently is that if I'm going to die anyway, then like, why not?
Get loaded?
Yeah. Like, why not? Like, like, do I see like the flawed perception in that? Absolutely. Does it sound completely ridiculous? Absolutely. From a recovery standpoint, I know that is not the mindset that I should be having, right? But like it is like if I'm going to die, then why not go out
with a Big Bang?
Exactly. Exactly. So there's that, and and again, it goes back to like falling back onto like my support and my fellowship and my sponsor and like and making sure that I put myself where I need to be in order to not relapse.
So it sounds like you don't know what's going to happen in the moment because you're not there. But you know you have the tools that if you want to stay clean, but I don't want to say you entertain the thought of getting high if you're going to die soon, but option.
Well, yeah, and I think that for me, I no longer have the obsession to use.
Yeah.
I still have the desire to use. And so with that, I know that I have to be extremely careful and to, constantly reevaluate, well, like, why am I in recovery? Like, why did I make this decision in the first place to come back to the program? And to have this conversation with me. And like, I know the program says, that with NA that you quit using, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. And like, I got 2 of the 3, and I have hope that eventually I will no longer have the desire to use. Like, it doesn't bother me anymore like it used to, but like, I will still be upfront about it. And so, yeah, I don't know what will happen in that moment.
Yeah.
But I do want to be prepared for whatever may happen.
That just sounds authentic, honestly. Like you're telling your truth.
Sorry.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
So you're good with those?
There's
The 2? Yeah. There's
Oh, yeah,
the
those-
most prominent ones for you?
those are the only 2 that I can think of.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I dig that. And that's pretty good for like 2 years clean. I'm not putting an amount on your time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Right? But you've shared like a lot of progress in the 2 years.
I was introduced to reservations early on in my recovery, and I'm like, well, what are these? This sounds important. And so the first time that I heard it, like, I really did a lot of like searching of like, well, what are mine?
Yeah.
Because I like to be prepared. Like, expect the worst.
You're very
but
thorough.
I am very thorough and very particular. And
Yeah.
yes, my sponsor likes to remind me of that. But yeah, it's something that I don't want to be blindsided. I've been blindsided with so much in my life that like, if there's something that I can do in order to prepare myself, then I feel like I need to do the work in order to do that.
Cool. I dig it. Joseph.
Reservations.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you first got clean, and then if you have any today.
So my story includes, before the miracle happened and I fully surrendered to the program and I actually got some days clean in a row. My story in recovery starts probably like 8 to 10 years before that actually happened. And through that progression, I've had many reservations that always changed, like if a loved one died or if I got terminally ill, or if I won $1 million and I got super rich.
$1 million is not super rich.
Not $1 million.
But that might pay the bills, really, honestly.
Don't forget they take 50% taxes.
If I was financially set. So
Free.
like I even had the one reservation one time, and it caused me to use that, if I could hook up with a couple girls at the same time and they wanted to get loaded, I would do it. And that was a long time ago, That was even before the Big Bang Theory started progressing,
early recovery.
Yeah, early recovery. I had every reservation you could think of, and every reservation took me back out, and I got to live through each reservation and use through it. And when I finally surrendered to this program, I knew that reservations were, like one of the biggest things that take us out. And so doing the work, like I've eliminated, there's still this one reservation that, like Ree was saying, like the desire comes up, the obsession's not there. The obsession's what taken me out 1 million times. And through doing the work, that obsession has been relieved. The desire still comes every now and then,
What's the reservation?
I'm
curious.
Okay, yeah. So the The reservation. It's not a reservation, actually. It's just a worry zone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so say that I got diagnosed. Say that I got diagnosed 10 years terminally ill. You're gonna die. You have 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna use over that, right? I'm gonna continue because I can ruin my life in a couple of weeks.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So 10 years, no, thank you. You know, biggest fear going back out again. I don't want to go back out because helplessness, all that bad stuff that comes with addiction. So long-term terminal ill, nope, not going to do it. Short-term terminal ill, like you got a year left to live, I'm not going to waste one of those days using because I want to make sure that everybody that I love knows that I love them and I'm there for them. And I'm going to go through that 2 years terminally ill. I'm probably still going to tell everybody I love them and be the best person that I can be. Now, somewhere in between 10 years and 2 years where you're terminally ill, I don't even know if these things happen, but in my mind, I've already worked it out.
It's already
All
happening.
the way through. He's played the tape all the way through.
Wow.
Where, you know, like,
No, I don't know. Please tell me.
yeah, so
I'm
there's
dying
a
here.
worry zone where you're terminally ill, you're going to die, there's no hope for you. You can try all the stuff in the world. I don't even think that's even possible. There's always something. Everybody gets saved. But in my mind, my disease tells me that there's this sweet spot in there where I'm going to be able to show everybody that I love them, and I'm going to be able to take care of everybody. And somewhere in between being helpless and everybody's taking care of me and wiping my butt, I'm going to be like, I love you guys. I'll see you later. And at that point, that's that worry zone right
So
there.
what does that mean? I'll see you later. Is that like suicide or
No.
just overdose or
No, you
just get
just-
loaded for the next 5 years?
No, 5 years is too long. I'm going to ruin my life in 2 weeks.
Okay. So you are going to go balls deep.
No, so
I don't get it.
look, there was no plan there. It was a worry zone. It's not a reservation. It just, you know, like if
It sounds like in between this time and this time, I'm going to get loaded.
no.
possible.
It's possible.
Oh.
That's possible. It's
All right,
a worry.
you're
It's a
keeping
worry
the door
zone.
open.
I hate that door open. I don't like that door open at all.
Correct.
Well, that's kind of what you're saying.
Unlock.
Well, so look, and I'm actually just sharing this because this is what I've thought before,
All
you
right.
know. And so, is that a current thought? Like I'm speaking now, thinking that this doesn't sound very true.
You're
Okay.
sharing the notion, but not the intent.
Yeah, like
Let's do this. Let's do
Yeah.
the 2 foot drop. All right. You said think or thought,
Yeah.
right? That's in your head.
Yep.
About the time period is where I'm going to get. So do the 2 foot drop into your heart. Right now, in your heart, do you feel that you'd get loaded?
right now, no. That's
Okay.
the last thing I ever want to do. I don't
All
ever
right.
want to go back there. It's my biggest
Okay.
fear.
Let's just stay there. Let's
Yeah.
just close the door. Let's stay right there. So we're going to get rid of that 5-year period between 2 years and 10, whatever that was, and forget all about that.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get loaded.
And that doesn't even happen anyways. There's a cure for everything, you know, and
Well, cancer, not really yet.
yeah.
They're
Well,
working on it. I
AIDS
mean,
either.
Well,
yeah.
like cancer, like if you want to look up the Gerson therapy,
Hey, we've got cancer running rampant through.
So that's the first
all of
thing.
our
If I
lives.
could like invent anything, I'd invent a cure for like cancer
Yeah.
and AIDS at the same time. So once again, I could enjoy a cigarette after a rigorous bout of anal sex.
hell yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
we can dream.
I know we can dream.
That's awesome.
A lot of people that I talk to and work with sometimes they share about you know, their reservations over somebody dying.
Yeah.
And I've had that reservation before too. I'm reminded though now of this story of a guy named Lazarus, and he died. And 2 women ran up to a teacher and said, the first one ran up to him weeping and crying, saying, Lazarus is dead, Lazarus is dead. And the second one came up happy, saying that he's moved on, you know. And the teacher told him told the people around, which one do you want to be like? Do you want to be the person weeping and crying over the dead, or do you want to be the person that's happy and rejoicing for them? You know, and when I look at death now, when I mentioned before that I don't fear death, I think there's something better. I'm that person that's going to rejoice. You know, and I try to share that with people that have the reservation of using over a loved one. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm still working on the pitch, but that's my truth.
That's a parable. Is that in any specific book that you read?
It isn't a specific book.
Right. Hey, I'm just.
Yeah.
You can say the Bible if that's where it came from. This is we're not like shut down. Nobody's going to shut us down if you say the word.
No, I love this program and I love what it's taught me, and we approach the topic of a higher power, and I mean the Bible is the Bible, but you know, like in the rooms, I talk about my God as my God.
Yeah, so I'm going to be clear with you on this podcast. It's okay to talk about specifics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just a podcast. It's got nothing to do. We're not affiliated.
Yeah.
So
the people that recognize.
Yeah. I get it. All right. I get that. And like especially the cancer thing, some people dying, we have experience with that in our lives, and we can stay clean through it over and over and over. So it's Steve.
Oh, I got one more fear.
Oh yeah, no.
This is a big fear.
Reservation.
Oh yeah, okay, reservation. We already moved on.
Is that-
I'm
Yeah,
way late.
fears
I'm way
are
late.
done.
I'm way late.
Did you have a fear that you wanted to share?
Yeah, like this
You
is
forgot
my
about this
biggest fear. It scares me every time I do it, and I do it over and over again just to get scared, and I don't know why.
Okay.
But when you're swimming and you try to touch the bottom and you
my
can't
God.
touch, I
Gone
get
off
so
the deep
scared.
Swimming
And
in a swimming pool?
more like lakes. When
Okay,
you're
I was
at the
gonna
lake
say.
and you try to like touch the bottom and it's not there, it scares the crap out of me every time.
Okay.
Punch you in the face right now.
A little off the topic of recovery fears, but you know, I have a fear of burning in a building, but you know.
Our friend Teresa, by the time this gets published, hers will be out. Her episode will be out. We were talking about fears, and she goes, honestly, my biggest fear when I got clean is that I'd get up at a meeting and fart. That was her biggest fear. Dude, I was lying. I just started crying. I was laughing so hard.
That's funny.
Okay. So reservations, Steve.
Only if my child dies. I honestly don't think that I'll get loaded, but I don't really know. I've built a whole world around him, and I've experienced so much loss and death that I just don't ever want to experience that. You know, myself, like, if I got cancer, you know, and it was terminal, I don't know if I would treat it. I don't, you know, I've been around cancer long enough to see the whole procession of chemo right into the grave, and it just robs people of their lives. I think my inclination would be to buy a ticket around the world and take my son off traveling until I drop dead somewhere. But if he died, that would be a different story for me. I would really struggle to stay clean during that time, and I would need the entire village here, regardless of how much I said I was okay. They would have to like cut through the bullshit and just show up on my doorstep all the time. I'm just letting you know, like, you know, because I would not be well.
Yeah.
I would not be well.
I hear you loud and clear.
And I did that when my second husband died. I kept saying I was okay, and I was not okay. Because, you know, asking for help was something that I was not used to doing. I had been the guy, right? The guy for many people. And
You and I have both talked about our inner circle, though. You know,
Correct.
or the trust.
yeah,
Yeah. So we have that to fall back on,
yeah.
you know.
Yes. So I would, I definitely need, people to show up for me, because I don't know how I would get through that without literally being carried.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've been through death quite a few times. I've been through death quite a few times. My brother, when I had 5 years clean, my stepbrother, oldest one, the one that protected me from getting beat, died to this disease, and I was a pallbearer.
Yeah.
And that was extremely hard. He was my hero as a child, right? My hero died.
Right.
And I stayed clean because somebody else at a meeting talked about losing a family member and staying clean. And this is how they did it.
I don't even think talk would be enough for me. Like, I need people to camp out here.
Well,
They would need, I mean, honestly.
I definitely believe we would do that.
Yeah. I would not trust myself alone for a minute. And I don't know if I would relapse or blow my whole fucking life up. Like, I mean, because you can blow your whole life up without putting in.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is my one reservation, because I've done the whole reservations thing. When I came into recovery, it was 1994, and my whole thing was I had a big bank plan just like you. I was on Social Security for drugs and alcohol. That's right, people. Thank you for supporting me. And I thought I was going to save up a few months' check, and then I was going to buy a used car, and I was going to start running chemicals for the man again. And then, when a couple months rolled around, I wanted to change the plan. So this time I was going to have enough to buy a pound, and then I was going to go to Tahoe and rent out a.
You're a hustler.
And I had always said, if my mom dies, I'm gonna use this. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to use. So she did. She died in 1999, and I got really depressed, and the steps weren't working for me. And I kept doubling down on meetings, and I kept reaching out to people, but nothing was enough. I was suffering for what I now know as situational clinical depression, and so I started formulating a suicide plan. And before I could enact it, I talked to my boss, who was a licensed social worker, about how I was feeling. And the next thing I knew, I was in a hospital, a psychiatric hospital that she had taken me to and hospitalized me. And it was a humbling experience for me, because I was running into clients that I'd worked with in the field who thought I'd started working at the hospital, and I was like, no, I'm a patient.
When you were talking to your boss,
Yes.
looking back, do you look back and look, maybe that was you were reaching out for help, talking to her?
Yeah.
Knowing that she'd have to report you or do something if you said suicide?
I wasn't familiar with mandated reporting at that time, because I was only I don't know, what was I? I was 4 years, 9 months clean, and I was working in the field of substance abuse, and we didn't have the same parameters,
True.
But I think that it was a cry for help. I think that she saw it as a cry for help, and she said, I think I'm going to have you hospitalized. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I think you need to be hospitalized. And I was like, oh, okay.
She might have saved your life.
Yeah, indeed. So I didn't have to use. That was my reservation from the first time I walked in. I didn't have to use, and I learned that you don't have to use if something happens like that. So I know I don't have to use if my son dies, but I know that it will be close.
So we acknowledge that each of us has a point in our lives where it's going to push it right to the limit.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have enough spiritual in the bank, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Enough recovery, spiritual contact with our higher power in the bank that we can fall back on that.
Yeah.
And that we've created a safe space, our group, our trusted people to be there. When my sponsor, Steve, passed away this last year. I was in the fetal position in my studio. Had a really hard time doing anything. And people showed up, people called, people checked in, people took me to meetings. I wasn't alone. I was never alone. So that made a difference for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So reservations, fears, resentments, the juicy. Yeah.
Like current?
We're going to do one of each. When you were a kid, okay, for me, I resented my parents because of the abuse that I suffered from. Later in life, after a lot of step work, I understood that they didn't have any teachers. The people that taught them taught that they were abused. So abusers taught my parents how to abuse me. So I never put blame on them after I learned that enlightenment, but that was a huge resentment when I was growing up, you know. So that's just an example.
I can go.
Yeah.
You ready? Yeah. Growing up from like earliest childhood on, I can remember having a strong resentment towards my stepfather. You know, the way the abuse of my family, and then as I got older, my teen years and early 20s were pretty much carefree. You know, like I was living life had everything I could ever want. Not really, but
Right.
I did. You know, drug wise, anyways. And then past that, I resented all the parental figures that were in my life.
Authority figures?
No, like my aunts and uncles that gave me drugs, that encouraged my criminal behavior, that I resented not being told to go to school and to do good.
Yeah.
You know, like I had those resentments, and then you know later on you resent the authority figures because they're shutting down your fun.
Right?
Right? Yeah. Today, you know, working through my other resentments, which are really anybody that I had harmed, you know, like there's usually a resentment there. I had harmed them because I was justifying my actions because they had done something, and through working through the steps, I've seen that, you know, like they did something to me because I did something to them, you know, and so. Today I try to live resentment free. Can't recall any resentments that I currently have. I don't think that I have any.
It's okay not to have any.
Yeah.
That's a great space to be in.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was just thinking. I just successfully did 30 days of inventory for my 10th step with my sponsor, and
31 days.
yeah, and so. What was amazing about those 31 days was that I didn't have an argument with anybody. I had no resistance, no opposition, no headaches from anybody. And like, it was a clear result of this program, you know, and like, yeah, it was.
Does that give you a good feeling?
It does. I'm smiling right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm smiling right now. The inventories weren't all that exciting, and I tried to document like situations that I went through and stuff, but like it was the blessing was it, and like I realized like around day 20, I was like, man, I'm living a good life here. You know, yeah. But yeah, so those were the early resentments, and like going through the steps and stuff, we worked through all these, and we find the root of them, and you know.
Yep. Yeah,
like
very
that.
good. I mean, there's so many.
Oh, I think I do have a resentment currently.
Okay, let's hear that one.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do it.
I just remembered. I kind of resent the politicians. I feel like they're just taking our money.
All right.
I mean, there's a tax for everything.
Is
you
that
know?
the politicians or the government? Because those are two totally different
I
things.
think they make the laws. I think they're like, let's impose a 70 cents more tax on gas. They say it's for the roads. Isn't there already a tax for the roads? Like, I don't know. It could be ignorance because I don't know anything about the law. I don't know anything about politicians. And in theory, they probably need more money than they have to do all the stuff that they want to do.
Okay, so let's break that down. It sounds like, from an outside observer, it sounds like you mentioned money.
I did.
You did. Yes, you did.
So is that like the root of that?
I bet you if they quit taking my money, I would probably not mind whatever they're doing. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, it helps to find the root.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, okay, that's good though.
Yeah.
You recognize the resentment.
Is that a resentment? Am I resenting it?
Yeah, it definitely
I
is.
got pretty fired up right there.
We
You feel something
can tell.
inside you?
I do.
Yeah, I feel a
It's
feeling.
burning right now.
For those
I
that
feel
are
that
listening,
resentment.
Joseph actually leapt out of his seat.
I'm
I'm really mad.
I think I got to do some work on this because I think it goes deeper than what I'm able to express.
All right.
You didn't blink one time when you were talking
My
about
eyes
it
are
either.
wide open. Maybe it's that cup of coffee I just had.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So what do you got, Bree?
So,
Bree?
so the first one was my eldest brother. His name's Angelo.
How many brothers do you have?
3. Yeah. So I have one half brother. No, 2 half brothers and 1 stepbrother. And I have 2 stepsisters. So,
Okay.
yeah, and we're all different ages and everything. I'm the youngest, and so my eldest brother Angelo is the reason why he was on the resentment list is because he was the one for the entire time. So when my fiance passed away, I was drinking and doing weed, but I was doing that since I was, in my teens.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for me, I was like, it was not a drug to me, quote unquote. Right.
Yeah.
But it was. And then, but after my fiance passed away, I started, I added Coke to the mix. And so the entire time that I was doing Coke, my brother was advocating for me to switch to crank. And he's like, this is better. It's going to last longer. It's cheaper. Like just trying to sell it like the entire time. And so when my money ran out, like I was like, okay, I guess my ride's over. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And then he was right there to be like, here, try this. Like, let's, he was the one that pushed me to do it. However, it was like, I had to take responsibility for my part,
I get it.
which is like, I did it. I could have walked away. I could have said no. I could have like not done it. So my fault in all of this is doing it. And so for me in my head, I'm like, you're my brother. You're supposed to protect me and keep me safe and not supposed to be, shoving crank down my face and all blah, 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 blah.
In the meantime, you're doing Coke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that tracks.
Yeah, right. So he was number 1 on my resentment, and like now I'm past it. I'm over
you
it.
worked through
I
that.
worked through it. Yeah.
Good.
And then another resentment that I'm working through is the beauty culture for women specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Did we talked a little
We
bit about that
did talk
earlier
about this. Yeah, we sure did. Yeah.
Body shaming is...
Yeah, body shaming, body image issues.
Yeah.
I have body dysmorphia, and so like a lot of it, it's like I know what I see is not reality, but knowing that doesn't change what I see, and so it's really difficult, like hearing feedback, positive feedback from other people, because it's like, you don't know what I see. Like, I trust that that's what you see. So like, I'm not going to fight you on it, but I am unable to receive it because I don't see it myself. And so I would like to do more research and therapy around how much, like how is the beauty culture connected to body dysmorphia for myself. And I can draw a whole bunch of lines and connections and things like that. But like, I'd rather not just go to assumptions rather than getting the facts first and then forming an opinion. But yeah, that's a resentment that I still have.
Dude, I think we share that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been a photographer 12 years now, and I run into that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
I can only imagine.
And the culture is specifically around women. Like guys, if they're like ripped or whatever, you know, they get kudos for that. But it's completely different for women. And every single time I'll take a picture and it's beautiful and I show it to them and their reaction is like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I go, you don't see what I see.
Right.
I see it's beautiful. Well, I'm overweight. That is a construct of society.
It is. And it's interesting because my fiance was a photographer too. Like he did other things. He was an artist, but one of his main things was photography. And so it was really interesting that like when I was in a relationship with him, I had no body image issues. Like the way that he made me feel in my own skin and the way that he felt like attracted to me and the way that he loved me. And he made me feel like I was like the only one in the world that he had eyes for was fantastic. But at the same time, now not having that, like I feel or think, one of the two, that it is important for me not to find validation in the opinion of somebody else, that I need to feel that for myself. Yeah. So, yeah.
Probably for the entire time that my wife and I have been married, for like over 25 years, I've never said, you look great, or mentioned, weight. I don't believe in that. Like that's not why I love you. Because it feeds into all this, a lot of stuff for women. It's connected to getting loaded. Like there's a large portion of women or females, even in their teens, that are getting loaded because of that cultural,
I relapsed so many times because when I was trying to get clean and I started putting on that recovery weight, right? And then like I got to a certain point, I'm like, I can't stand this. And so then I would use again to lose the weight and then it gets stuck in the circle.
Proof.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I get it. And I'm glad you talked about that. Thanks. Appreciate that. Steve.
Oh, my turn again?
We're making the rounds.
She calls me mommy. What was the question again?
That just makes me feel like you weren't even listening to anything I was saying.
Never had them, no.
No resentments. You resent cancer. I'm going to throw that out right off the bat.
Yeah, I resent
I do
cancer and AIDS on a level that is... Yeah, I have a deep personal relationship with grief and those two diseases. So, but I think it's interesting because over the course of your recovery, and I've been in recovery for 30 years now, and some change, right? Your understanding of resentments change, and that didn't change because I relapsed for 6 months. I mean, I understand that. There's a difference between minor annoyance about something and a resentment. I used to hold on to minor resentments in my addiction and through much of my formative years in recovery until I learned how to let go of them. There are still a few I have that are what I would deem as resentments. I resent my daughter for not being in her son's life. Mm-hmm. I resent her so much for abandoning these wonderful years of discovery that she's neglected to share with her son. And there's an anger in me about that. And the anger is because I see the emotion that he shares with me when he is deep in thought about it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
When you think about your daughter and the resentment, are you able to step back and big picture it and see your daughter as an addict? Is that too hard?
100%. No, I know exactly what it is. That's what I'm talking about. The nature of resentments change because if you stay in recovery long enough, you become your emotional awareness of what drives resentments is so much more refined. Your emotional maturity and the way you process. Like, he knows his mom has a disease. I've never used the word drug addict with him. I've used the word disease. He knows that it's a condition that causes compulsion, and that compulsion keeps her away from here. And she can't help that as long as she's powerless over her condition.
You're an amazing dad.
And so he has a frame of mind to think about it that's not negative, but to him it's the emotional absence of the mom, of seeing his friends' moms throw parties for them, and his friends' moms like coordinate events, and that special bond that mothers and children have. And he is acutely aware that it is absent in his life. He has some through my sister, and so I'm grateful for her. So much gratitude I have for her for stepping into that role and being the female figure in his life, because it does take a village, and I have a lot of women who surround him and give him love, and a lot of uncles or program people that he's close to that he can get like different parts of dads from, because I'm not the all-around dad. I'm the 60-year-old dad, who's very physically limited on what I can do. And so I rely on people like Joe or Andy or, to do the more physical pieces with him sometimes. And I don't have any reservation about utilizing my village to help with those things.
You gotta have gratitude for that. Right?
I do. I have a lot of gratitude for that.
Kirk and I, this is our running thing, is that we're a family of choice, right? Because we didn't have a reliable family.
That's right. I think of my friends Sarah and Craig, and we've kind of like helped each other with our kids. Their kid will come here and spend the night, and Jason will go there and spend the night. And, we trust each other, and that's important.
That's huge for a lot of us that have witnessed or been part of abuse as kids. Is like a lot of times it's the adult that's the untrustworthy person.
Right. Yeah. And so that I don't I have some minor frustrations that border on resentments with people who are not kind to newcomers who don't know our language, and who only want to be a part of, but haven't learned what our traditions are or what keeps our program, our fellowship.
Are you like talking about if a newcomer says I'm an addict alcoholic and somebody in the back of the room goes, "We're all addicts here"?
Yes. A little bit of that, yes.
All right.
And, I understand there's a need to help newcomers.
That's not help, though.
It's not. And so I resent people who are so brash in their approach to that piece, because I fear for the newcomers' lives. If they turn away from the group and they get a resentment, they don't have the tools that I have to know what a resentment is versus a reaction versus a annoyance. That they haven't figured all those pieces out, and so that's a piece that I often struggle with. What is my part? I try to talk to people who do that after the meeting sometimes about how we can scare newcomers by being abrupt or using language like that. I'm not that kind of a teacher.
a teacher to the person that's participating in that poor behavior, or a teacher to the newcomer?
I think we all, so I think the reason why mankind does better when we come together is because we all have something to share, to teach. And if we share that in a way that is that others are able to hear, then we become a better society. And so we all, in essence, are teachers of the knowledge we have or the wisdom we've gathered. And it's how we share those things that matter. Because if you share them in a way where your ego is visible or you overpower another person during what they're trying to say to correct them, you're not teaching, you're battling. And so there's a way that my approach to everything is to allow people to be in the space they're at and then approach them after there's some time to think about it, so that
some time to think about it. You mean you would approach the person that was inappropriate to the newcomer?
Correct.
Okay.
I've done that in the past.
All right. So the other option would be that you go to the newcomer afterwards.
Oh, and I do that as well.
Yeah,
yes.
I know you do.
My resentment is not with the newcomer, though.
Right.
We're talking about resentment.
Yeah.
So my resentment is with the old timers or people even that don't have a lot of time that have learned a different language than the one I speak.
Yeah.
So, because we can do more harm than
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
I feel like compassion really is something that would work well into what you're saying, that there, from an outside perspective, just hearing you talk about it, that there has been a lack of compassion and understanding between the two, because the newcomers, a lot of them don't know the language. They don't know necessarily how the program, is formatted, how it's run, the lingo. I know I sure didn't.
And they're coming from programs that use the term sober a lot.
Yes.
And sobriety a lot.
Exactly. And so when you have somebody, a predecessor, let's say, having a poor tact and delivery in it, and it's not filled with love and compassion, hey, I know where you're coming from. I've been there too, but here's how we do it here, but also not doing it in a group setting, right? And I think that definitely have witnessed too much of that, and it's a little bit off-putting. It really is, because I just recently started the traditions, and what I'm learning in the first tradition is anonymity and unity, and how that is so important, just for group level, because we are all here to help each other, and also too that the both of those play such a big part into personal recovery. So if the balance is off at group level, then there might be it might trickle down to the personal level of recovery, because how do I put this? Because what's the most positive, wonderful, fantastic things of the program is not being reflected and displayed and carried out as it was meant to be.
I hear you. And that 100% all falls back to, we got humans inside the rooms.
Right.
Yeah. And so, and this is very, very important for us to understand, is that we are human, and we are going to make mistakes or foul up or cause harm. And what do we do when we do that? Do we make amends? And that's not an excuse for poor behavior. I'm human.
Sometimes I'll share at a group level about my experience in AA, which was considerable before I came here. And I have a lot of friends in AA, and I still attend AA meetings to support them getting chips. And I've even gone to some AA conferences in my span in NA. And when I'm in a meeting, and I'll say this at group level and might share sometimes, supporting them, I introduced myself as an alcoholic, and I use the term sobriety because I want to respect their traditions in that room, just as I would respect the traditions in our room when I say clean and recovery. And I think that's a general way that you can
great.
share, because there are, you know, we owe our predecessors a lot for creating this wonder, for helping us or giving us the tools to create our own program. And I never want to dishonor that, but I also want to honor the traditions that they set forth. And they held that fellowship together for a long time before ours came together.
For the drug addicts.
Before the drug addicts. And they still hold our program together today. It's been 72 years, I think, since NA was created.
53? I can't do math.
Yeah.
Right?
Math.
No math
Can you do
for
the
us.
math?
It's
Somebody get a
72 years.
calculator. Thank you.
So, yeah.
That's super interesting because for me in the 80s when I got clean, there was I think there was 4 NA meetings in my area.
Okay.
And so we had to go to AA. So for first few years at least, I was going to AA meetings every week. But we also had a pretty strong traditions fellowship in NA where we learned right off the bat that about language.
Yeah.
You know, and at first, and I'm guilty of this. For years, I would be like, we say clean here. And I had not very much clean time.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, you learn over the years about tact, compassion, and especially I love the fact that you're doing traditions right now.
Yeah.
Really.
It's so much different than steps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You get to learn how to deal with people, other people besides yourself.
And I'm a recovering isolationist, so this is
That's right. That's a hard thing to get over because we are a touchy-feely, come together kind of.
and like that's
group.
fine. Like I am touch starved, right? And
Yeah.
I'm a touchy feely type of person.
I'd
I'd rather
isolate.
Yeah. It's not, I know, like, I no longer isolate now and I solitude, and
Yeah,
I will
right,
argue
right.
with anybody that there is a difference on that.
there
And
is.
so, but
I
like,
agree.
yeah, I'd rather give somebody like a genuine, meaningful hug than have a conversation with them. So, like, the touch doesn't bother me. It's the conversation afterwards. That's why I don't show up super early. That's why I don't stay super late. But I will, and I do make the time to fellowship with and to make connection. Like, I'm not neglecting that. But at group level, like when I first got into the rooms, I'm hiding in the kitchen behind the cabinet so no one knew I was there. Like, it was too overwhelming for me. Like, I can't do it. So the fact that like I'm sitting amongst the people now and I can say hi, you know.
I did not share at group level in NA for 6 months.
Yeah.
When I first came in.
Yep.
I just sat and listened.
Dude, I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
There's so many things that you talk about that I relate to. That's awesome.
I like to talk about things.
I don't like people,
like
but I don't want to be alone. But I need to be alone at times. This is what I learned. I personally need to be alone for a period of time to recharge.
Absolutely.
Because I get drained around people. But I love my people.
That's the
I
key
don't
right
love
there.
you guys out there in the world. I really don't like civilians.
Yeah.
I say it's like a map of Paris.
I've never been there.
So Paris is a city designed in rings.
Oh, okay.
And so there's the center, and there's this outer ring, and this outer ring, and there's 6 of them. They go all the way out to Versailles, right?
Yeah.
The 6th ring is like out where Versailles is, outside of the city, but that's the 6th ring around the city. And the city's designed that way, like in a circle. And so in the middle is like all the touristy things, the Eiffel Tower, the good stuff, right? So my middle is full of good stuff. And then I have the outer that I go to and I visit and I hang out with sometimes, and I'll see a show there and go to a restaurant there, and then I come home to the middle. Sometimes I'll go further out. Sometimes I go all the way out to the ring and do a retreat.
And you
Everything
get
you're saying
reminded
right now?
that you don't want to be out there? What was that?
She said it's bullshit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I love that analogy. That's us, right? We have our inner ring.
Yeah.
That's my safe space. I have my people, right? And you too are starting to be my people.
Oh.
Yeah. Steve's already in the circle. So, okay, resentments, fears, reservations. Something that we don't do a lot is shame and guilt.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So let's do this.
All right.
So
Throw
we
something
don't-
at me.
Yeah, we don't have to like expand on this great big story or anything, but just talk about some of the shame and guilt that you experience.
That I have experienced.
Sure. Experiencing, or you remember as a kid, or when you first got clean. Your choice. It's dealer's
Oh my gosh.
choice.
I guess,
Shame and guilt.
yeah, throughout my life, I've experienced a bunch of shame and guilt, like feeling like I was not intellectually worthy to be, like at school or like amongst my family. I didn't know how to intellectualize or verbalize my own emotions and thoughts.
Today still?
No,
Oh.
no,
Okay,
no,
cool.
no.
All right, go on.
Felt like it really my whole life really was just like me walking in shame and guilt for one thing or another, like believing that I was personally responsible for other people's state of being as well as their physical being. So if someone was not doing well in life that I was invested in, then it was my fault.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then,
Do you link that to codependency?
oh, for sure. I had
Okay.
I had a very, very abusive mother who was a narcissist. And so like that just, there was codependency there. There was transference there. There was,
That'll do it.
There was, role reversal there. I was supporting the house at 16 and, there was just a whole bunch of stuff. You're fine. There was a whole bunch of stuff there, throughout my childhood. And yeah, I can probably think of way more stuff that has to do with guilt and shame prior. And then there was a whole bunch of guilt and shame for my active addiction. And what I call my active, I started using, the first time I used, I was 15 and got drunk with my brother. And then I didn't start like using every day until I was at that incident when I was like 17, 18. And that was every day, all day for like until I got clean. And then, but like what I called even though I was in active addiction, I still kind of refer to like my active addiction as like when my fiance passed away and I started, using all the things that I said that I would never use. And that's when my life really went to shit. Like, and so I acknowledge that I was an active, I was active addiction, at a younger age.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but you just pinpointed that you crossed some boundaries that you had set for yourself.
Oh yeah.
And so that's the shame and guilt part.
There was part of that. And then also to like, so within that, my addiction of me doing all the things that I said I was never going to do.
Yeah.
Like I was doing things in my addiction that I knew that I wasn't supposed to be doing, that I said that I would never do.
Besides getting loaded?
Besides getting loaded. the things that come with, active addiction, right? And so my actions and decisions while in active addiction, caused me a whole bunch of shame and guilt, to a certain point. Like when I was putting in, it was like, I didn't care. Like, yeah, I'm doing stuff and I know I'm not supposed to be doing, but I don't care. And then when I started getting, getting into recovery and the drugs were no longer in my system and my numbing agent was no longer there, like the weight and the pressure of everything that I had done, that I knew that I should have never have done, finally caught up with me. And so that was probably way more heavy than all of the stuff in my younger life and everything like that.
I get that.
So,
demoralizing stuff when you
yeah.
look back on it.
Oh yeah, things like I only have ever shared with 2 people before.
Yeah.
When I did my first downward steps, and then just now when I did the round of steps with my current sponsor. And yeah, like it's not. I'm thankful that I am no longer ashamed of what I have done. Like guilt and shame are no longer part of my person, and I'm very thankful. And I give thanks to the steps. And I also give thanks to my God. Like in all reality, like that's really what it comes down for me. Like my God has been able to remove guilt and shame from me. And I am so thankful. And I no longer live in this state of, it's like a prison kind of, for me it was. So yeah.
Cool. I dig that.
Thanks.
Good job.
Well spoken.
Joseph?
Yeah. Guilt and shame. So I can remember doing this round of steps, and my 4th step, when the topic of guilt and shame came up, like all the other times, I'm just answering the questions, pulling memories, writing down all my guilts and shames. And I had a different reaction this time, and I remember I cried all over my paperwork, and I circled my tears that way, because I still have, I don't know about you guys, but I still have my other rounds of steps that I've written, I still have those, and occasionally I look through them, and see the difference between now and 5 years ago.
So it'd be tears of joy then.
Yeah, and it reminds me that, hey, something happened right here, and I cried, and so anyways, but I read some great stuff. Was there a specific question? My guilt and shame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to say that I read this great part that said, it said, when you're listing your guilt and shame, realize what is imagined and what's real, And I found out that, a lot of my shame and guilt was imagined, and it's not imagined, but I had no say in the matter. These are things that happened to me, and I needed to let go of that shame because I'm not responsible for it. And then there's the
That's
other
super important.
Yeah.
If I'm saying if you had felt for a long time that you were the problem, and you had guilt and shame around that, and then you do the work and you find out that it wasn't really you, you were the victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like molestation and stuff
That's
like that.
That's a big thing for you.
Felt a lot of shame for it. Through this recovery process, I've been, in early addiction, I know I'm getting off track. In early addiction, I said that, I used because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to have friends and stuff like that.
Kind of goes back to the neglect.
Yeah. And so that it was the same with that shame, is that, I would hide that shame because I wanted to fit in, or the things that I felt guilty that I did, I would hide those because I wanted to fit in. I cared about what people thought about me.
Yeah.
And today, I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with what I've been through. I'm okay with the mistakes that I've made. And so I've done a lot of work to let go of that guilt. I've done a lot of work I'm working on my amends and, to try to clean up my side of the road. But yeah, guilt and shame were a big part. And, it's important to
It's not as
those.
heavy today for you?
No, today I catch myself still, sometimes I'll be around a new group of people that I don't know, and the
What the hell are you doing around people you don't know?
coworkers. coworkers that I've never
giving you a
met.
bad time.
those people.
The grocery store.
I love it. Those people.
The grocery store group of guys that are gathering, or somewhere, or sometimes I'm around random people and they talk bad about gays or something, and like they're saying that obviously because they're thinking that I'm like them,
Right.
Which isn't the case. And so, like instantly that guilt or shame pops up. But
Do you have guilt and shame about your sexuality?
no, I don't. I
Okay.
don't. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, but like I'm saying, with random people, like that thought comes.
Is
to
your
mind.
guilt and shame associated with not speaking up and saying, "Hey"? You're
good
talking
question,
about
Steve.
what?
Good question, Steve.
Yeah, no,
You're talking about me.
Okay, so there's another thing. I usually don't point out, hey, you're talking about me, but I do mention that that's okay. Like I tell them that there's nothing wrong with that. I almost always speak up. But like
Cool.
I don't always throw myself out there because
It's hard. I
my
understand.
personal business is my personal business.
Yeah.
It's like when sometimes people come up to me and they're like, "Hi, I'm so and so. I'm gay." I'm like, that's a lot. Like it's not a lot, but like it's
Hey,
it's kind of personal. Like that's my information.
things are changing, man. I swear to
Yeah.
God. So my wife and I are in the living room watching TV, just really quick. And our youngest son is, at the time, he was like 15 or 16. And he's in the kitchen with some friends. And we're just watching TV. And our son yells out from the kitchen. He goes, "Mom, Dad, I'm bi." and Jen and I, and it was like, "Okay, son."
Right.
And then just life went on, right? And so he's just the bi, he's in the queer community, and that's our son, right?
It's interesting. I never feel the need to come out to people ever. Like, there's an assumption that people know I'm a flaming homosexual, but,
No.
I don't,
Really?
I don't ever say like I'm gay. Like I'll talk about my husband who passed away, or if I'm sharing in a general way about things, but it's not a moment where I need to clarify who I am for you
Yeah, I
because I
understand
don't
that.
feel it necessary. Not because I'm not proud of who I am, it's because I don't owe you anything. I don't need to say, like, are you okay with this? Because I frankly don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody doesn't like me, I don't even know. Because that's how less I don't care. I just have come to the place in my life where I don't care about stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's no shame and guilt for you there.
No, at all.
Yeah, I hope I didn't come across that there was shame
No,
and
you
guilt
didn't.
there.
I was
yeah.
I understood your story, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything else besides that?
Like I was saying, I was just sharing my process of releasing the guilt and shame that I still held on to. And then I was just expressing that, sometimes it tries to reemerge, like my addiction's a beast, and it's always trying to do whatever it can to get to me. And it tries to come, it tries this crack, it tries that crack, it tries to get in over here. And it's just a lifelong process to keep it at bay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the shame and guilt around that?
That is it tries to seep in sometimes by telling me like, hey, like you got guilt and shame here, and I tell myself I don't got that there no more.
Oh, good.
I'm
Okay,
okay
I
with
see what
myself.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Steve?
For years before I could sort it out in my recovery, I was ashamed of where I came from. That not it wasn't something that I was aware of. It was this feeling I got when I was around people that seemed more normal than I was, or had a seemingly careless life until they were addicted. They grew up in affluent homes or middle class homes. That imposter syndrome, or that not wanting to share where I had come from, that kind of like, feeling of if they knew who I was, they wouldn't want to be my friend. You know, that shame of growing up in poverty and in crime that I had to deal with early, so that I wouldn't sabotage all my relationships, so that people wouldn't leave me before I left them. You know, because that's what I wanted to do. You know, fuck everything and run.
Yeah.
And so it was a long process to love who I am and accept that I could not be the man in recovery that I am unless I went through the things and experienced the things that I did, and that made who I was valuable and not something to be ashamed of. And then I have a lot of guilt over being ashamed of my mom when I met and fell in love with my husband. His cousin Barbara was like in her 70s, and he was very close to her. And Barbara was a very independent woman who had interviewed every president up till Nixon. She was a newswoman, married to a career, never married to a man. Very wealthy, and my mom would come around and I'd just be embarrassed about the way she talked or the way she looked, or, you know, and she was a beautiful human being. Like, I was dealing with this fear, this unreasonable sense that they would judge me and discard me. And so
That's heavy.
it was heavy.
That's a heavy one.
It was, yeah. And I still deal with the feelings of guilt or having the feelings of shame, because even though I came to understand that my mother is a beautiful human being standing next to anybody in this world, she really was the genuine article, and that clothes and other things like that didn't really matter.
The outsides.
The outsides don't really matter. I just wanted to succeed so badly and build this life that I always envisioned for myself, that I was afraid that anything was going to tip the balance, and myself included. I mean, for I think a good 18 months of our first, few years together, I tried to get him to break up with me because I was sure that he was going to do it anyways.
Self-sabotage?
Yes, until he finally said, are you trying to get me to break up with you? And I was like, yes, I am. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because you're going to leave me anyways. He was in love with me, and I could not understand why somebody would love somebody like me.
That low self-esteem.
Because I didn't understand how spectacular I was. Like, I didn't understand the magic that my mother had instilled in me, the kind heart and the generous nature that I had that was solely the responsibility of my mother's rearing.
When did you realize that? After step work?
I think, well, yeah, definitely step work helped with that. I think that for me, it was around the time that my mother and I had become very best friends. The trust had all rebuilt, and we were at this apex of our relationship like we were when I was a child, except now I was somebody that she confided in and she trusted, and I saw her in a different light, and I saw our relationship and what it had done for me in a way that I didn't experience as somebody who was a child. And I was a child until I stopped using and worked the steps, right? Like, literally, I thought,
That's awesome.
And so, and then out of the sky fell a great king of terror. She was diagnosed with lung cancer. Mm-hmm. And within months, I had lost her. And it was a lot, which, as you heard before, led me to a dark place in my life. But yeah, I still sometimes twinge at the guilt if I have a specific recollection. Yeah.
Okay.
But, you can only forgive yourself so many times. Like I know that what my reaction was back then was fear, and the shame came from a place of fear that I don't feel anymore. But I'm sorry my mother had to see that I was ashamed, you know.
So that brings up a great like segue into something that always is attached to shame and guilt. And that's for all of you. That a lot of times when we like are perceiving our shame and guilt, we have regrets. And so do you see regrets, or do you have regrets of any of that shame and guilt that you felt?
Yeah, I just told you.
I hear that one. Yeah. I heard that loud and clear.
You're gonna have to go again.
That's what brought it up.
You too.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the premise, though, because it comes up a lot with when Josh is co-hosting. We go back and forth about this. So he has no regrets of all the stuff, and especially for me when I ask about all the harm that I did. I have regrets. I regret harming others. Like I understand the concept that all that stuff happened, and I did all that stuff to get to where I am today, and that's how I wouldn't change a thing. That's the whole. Everybody says that, right? I wouldn't change a thing because it got me to be the person who I am. Well, I'd like to get to be the person who I am without causing harm to others. Do you guys? Does that ring a bell with any of you?
Well, to me, the person I am came from the suffering I experienced in life. And
What about the harm that you caused?
not the
others?
harm that I did.
There you
That's
go.
not the person that I am. That was the person I became when I was on drugs.
Yeah.
And so I do regret to this day some actions that I had that were only told on my very first 4-step.
There's a
Stuff
great
that
clarification.
that I've never ever said again after that. That
Yeah.
first 4-step was a lot. It was 69 pages long of
Holy shit.
shit. And
Wow.
and there's a few things on there that I've never repeated because I never felt the need to again. But those are the things that I regret most.
What about you, Ree? I mean, regrets can be specifically attached to shame and guilt.
Right. I've talked about this with my sponsor before, and where I've landed is that I don't have any regrets. Like I'm aware of and I acknowledge accountability for the things that I have done, and the harm that has done to other people and the destruction that has caused in my own life. Because of the work that I did with the shame and guilt, I no longer have any regrets. I do have remorse, though. I am not proud
Totally different.
of the things that I've done.
Yeah.
And would I have liked to done things differently? Absolutely. Like I would have. However, like that's not the reality. And so like my heart does hurt for the hurt that I have done to specific people, but I no longer have regrets.
That's awesome. A lot, just throwing this out there, a lot of the 8th and 9th step relieves us from that. So that's great. What about you, Joseph?
When I think about regrets, yeah. So with the 8th and 9th step, the regrets tied to guilt and shame, like being helpless as a child. I regretted not being able to do something about it. And, the harms that I've caused other people, regretted that. Still have remorse, making amends on some of them. Now, I don't know if this is 4th step worthy, but I've always had a regret of I chose automotive college over the military. And I've shared with a million people, that's my biggest regret in my life, is not going into the military.
Did any of that like get you loaded or something?
I could have been a whole new way of life. It could have been a whole new way of life.
I'm just giving you a bad time.
Yeah, I don't know. Regrets. I don't. I'm thankful for all the stuff that I've been through. It's made me the person that I am today.
Yeah, I mean-
and I'm a great person with a lot of stuff still ahead in the future, you know?
Yeah.
So grateful for that.
I love that you brought up remorse.
So I want to just say, because it threw me into I need to look up definitions.
Yes, yeah, do it, please.
Okay, yes, because I think regret is a lesser form of remorse. So,
Really?
yes, the dictionary defines regret as feel sad, repentant, or disappointed over something that has happened or been done in the past. Remorse is deep regret or guilt for a wrong committed.
Wow, that's pretty
So
cool.
remorse is even deeper than regret. Regret is kind of like, oh yeah, I wish that hadn't happened. Remorse is like you're feeling deep guilt or, yeah, so.
I feel like I was taught like they were opposite. Like it has been used in my life by other individuals.
Virtually the same.
Like,
I mean, one is a little
differently.
less than the other.
Yeah.
So because I would assume that the regret is like the deep guilt and like the
Remorse? Just, I did something bad.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
admission.
Well, the opposite is the case, though.
Well, either way,
But they're almost identical.
Yeah.
Except one is deep.
either way, the word
I'm
remorse.
not proud of the things I've done.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about the things that I have done and
Yeah.
the people that
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
I'm a
But
word
it is-
Nazi sometimes. Like,
but it does not, I do not lose sleep at night.
what is the word I sent you the other day? Because
Oh, yeah.
she and I, mawkishness. Do you know what mawkishness is?
It's got to do with mocking somebody.
No. That's
I didn't
incorrect.
even know how to say it. I had to
Boldness.
look
Yeah.
it up online to how to pronounce it.
It is when you are overly emotional or bear emotion with people. Like you're like,
Too much?
yeah. Like,
That's just too much for me.
let me read it to you. Hold on, because I'll find words and we send us the
I
words. all
love
the time.
words.
Kevin, you know
It
another
says
beauty.
mawkishness is the quality of being excessively sentimental in a way that is false, insincere, or nauseating. I love that.
When you said, after I looked up the definition for that, I'm like, are you like secretly calling me out on something? I like instantly took it personally, and I'm like, got kind of insecure for a moment.
Because you said a question mark. I'm like, it's a word. We do the word game. You
Yeah.
said me words. I
Yeah,
said you
yeah.
words.
Yeah, but it looked like a gibberish word. I'm like, this isn't really a word. Like,
I know. I know. When
Yeah.
somebody used it, I'm like, I'm looking up that word. I was like,
Joseph, you're going to
Yeah,
say
I was going to say,
Sorry.
you know, the beauty of this program is that we're always working on ourselves and we're always growing. And we're lucky enough to enjoy nights like tonight with friends and share our stories
Hell
with other
yeah.
people.
no need to be mawkish.
No. We were talking about guilt and shame and regret. And I haven't even processed this, but I realized something that I'm ashamed of, and I think I need to do some work on it, you know? And it's not that I'm ashamed of it, but my biological dad, he's like mentally disabled. He can't speak right, and
Yeah.
I can't explain what he is. He's not like
So
anybody
he's got
else.
some disabilities.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got some disabilities. And I wish that there was something that I could do to help him, you know, and I've done a couple things, but like
Help him how?
so I'm going to say 2 times ago when I went to his apartment, you know, like he had 3 dogs and pee and poop everywhere, and you know, he has a wife that's not paraplegic, but, you know, like 400 pounds and wears diapers and poops all over the bed. And,
Sounds like they both have disabilities.
They're both
And you want to
disabled,
be able
yeah.
to help them.
Yes. And I mean, I would love to help them, but in my experience over my lifetime is that I know everybody's helpable, but like I've kind of, no matter how many fresh starts he has, or if you're not there 24 hours a day to take care of him, like it's not going to work.
Correct.
You know, like it just goes right back to the way that it was. And so I take him out to eat, you know, like I visit with him occasionally, but like anytime when he calls me, or, you know, like I take somebody over there, like I feel ashamed, you know, like
Did you do it to him?
No, I didn't do it to him.
All right.
No.
So you actually had nothing to do with it.
No, but he is my dad.
That's what I was about to ask you. Like, do
Yeah.
you feel like you're looking at it through the perspective of when parents get to a certain age and then children should take care of their parents?
Is that an
No,
obligation?
he's been that. He's been this way his whole life. Like he was never in my life. But when my grandmother told me one day as we were driving by the street, "There's your dad," and it was a guy just on the corner drinking with the homeless guys and that kind of
All
stuff.
right.
And it was when I started going out by myself that people were like, "Hey, I think I know your dad," and then they're like, "Your dad was over here," and then I went and met my dad, and yeah. So
Did you feel like you have some form of odd obligation?
no, I just feel like I guess it's a feeling of inadequacy, because everybody's got a good dad, or not a good dad, or they got a bad dad.
No, they don't.
Or they got a bad dad. Or
I have
they
no
got,
dad.
Yeah.
Or no dad.
Yeah.
Or no dad.
My son,
I don't know. I'd say no dad might be better than this dad. That's what.
did this come from me
that's the-
talking about my shame with my
Yeah,
mom?
it brought it up. Yeah, it brought it up because I've been feeling like he's been calling me lately because there was a funeral in my family, and I went and picked him up because my other family members don't talk to him and they've quit associating with him, and it was his sister that passed away, and they're like, "Will you do us a favor and take him to the funeral? And if he gets out of hand or he starts fighting with anybody, take him away because we will call the cops." They always call the cops on him, and so I did that, and since then he's been calling me regularly, and whenever he calls me and somebody's around and they look at me like, "What's going on?" Because he literally sounds like a Tasmanian devil. You can't understand any words that come out of his mouth, and he just talks all the time. I feel ashamed.
So you said, when you started this revelation, that everybody is helpable, but I would argue that is not the case. I've been in the field of behavioral health for a long time, and there are people that are not only developmentally disabled, but mentally disabled that their standard of living is different than ours, and it will not get better. Primarily because they can't learn the things that we learn to do. They can't regulate, and they can't plan, and they can't manage their life because they lack the skills or the mental capabilities of doing that. So there are professional people that help them to do that, but it doesn't make their life better. It just makes it manageable. My ninth grade teacher, Mrs. Lopes, told me when I was, I don't know, however old you are in the ninth grade,
Do the math.
that I didn't know my dad anything. He had left when I was
14, I think.
4. And I was really mad at her. "What do you mean I don't owe him anything?" I was indignant. "He's my father." She said, "You don't have to love him." "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't have to love him. He's my father." I didn't know what she was trying to tell me at the time. I have no obligation to
There
a
you
person
go.
who created me. There's no obligation. He created me through my mom, and I was born. This life is mine. I get to make the decisions to help me and to grow. And if I can help you along the way without hurting my life or going backward, then I can do that. But I'm never going to give up what I've created for myself. And I'll go back to safety. When I got that call that my dad was in the hospital after not seeing him for 30 years, and he had an infection from shooting dope. He's 83 years old. He's partially blind. How's he finding a vein? And I decided to go up to see him, to check on him, even though I had no kinship to him at that point. I did not want him to die having known that he was in the hospital, because I thought there's no way that I want to deal with that guilt after he's left me with nothing.
Keyword there,
I
thought.
will go up and check on him and go home and leave him be to his life. And that's what I did. You don't owe anything to your father, Joseph. And I know that's hard to wrap your head around when you're as emotional and as feeling and as loving and caring as you are, because that's who I am as well. It's hard. It was hard for me to let go of that feeling that I was somehow obligated for being created. I didn't ask to be created, you know.
The shame and guilt in that obligation can form some part of codependency. Right? So that's very fine line that you walk when you have that big of a heart, right? And that shame and guilt can trigger codependency.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Okay. So like this, like what you were talking about.
This is exciting for
It is.
It is. Yes, it is.
She's
Oh
ready.
my gosh. Okay. So like a couple things. So I was my mother's personal caregiver for 10 years. And
Was she disabled?
yes, she was.
In her own way.
Yes, like when she got to a certain point, yes, she was pulled from work for disability, and then she fell into her own addiction. Well, she was already in addiction,
Yeah,
but
okay.
it was a different addiction, and I didn't know the signs of it, so I couldn't be like, oh, this is what was happening. But she was an extremely and severely abusive woman, and so like I'm very compassionate, empathetic, and for me, like I was like my family was raised like completely opposite, like more of like, you know, like the Eastern world type of family values, to where like you are loyal to your family, you respect your elders, you are there for them, you take care of them, you honor them, you respect all this stuff. And so like when I was, you know, like for all of my life, like it was, I was a good child for the most part because I feared my mother, because I saw what she did to the brother that I was raised with, and he was very disobedient and yeah.
Wait, when you say good child, are you admitting that you submitted?
Yes, I submitted.
Okay.
Absolutely. But also because I was like, I loved my mother, even though she was completely abusive and all this
Interesting.
like I loved her, and
Okay,
I
I got
wanted
you.
and I truly just wanted to respect my mother because she was my mom. Like it didn't matter like all the stuff that she was doing. Like this is how I truly felt, and so I thought that I was doing the right thing by submitting, by you know, being obedient, all these things. And then she got sick, right? And then I felt this obligation to take care of her. And that's why like I had 3 jobs when I was 16. I was selling weed and her pills in high school before I really started using on the daily. And I did all these things because she wasn't working. There was no one else, and I was the only one that was there for her life. And the reason why I never left her to that point is because she guilt and shamed me into, oh, everyone always leaves me, I'm always abandoned. And I'm like, not me. I'm never going to leave you because I love you and you're my mom and we got this together. Laverne and Shirley.
Let me
you know?
grab my cape.
Exactly. So for many, many years, I tried to make it work. And like, even when I got a career, I was paying her bills, I was supplying all of her everything. I was taking care of my mom because that's how I was raised. Like, I'm a good daughter because I'm taking care of my mother. And then once the abuse ramped up really bad, I started seeing a counselor, and this counselor just so happened to be counseling my mom at the same time.
Oh no.
It was great. It really was like she was very professional. It was really helpful for one person to see both sides of what was going on. And she was able to speak into my life the things that I needed to hear, but I wasn't ready to accept it. You need to step away from your mother. You need to detach from your mother. This is an abusive relationship. You do not owe her anything. You are responsible and free to live your own life and to pursue the dreams that you want to, and not only do the things that your mom tells you to do. and to have friends and be happy and all these things. And so like it's it was definitely codependent, and I really feel like I just wanted to love my mom. I wanted to love my mom, and I thought that if I loved my mom would love me in return. And that did not happen. And then I got into an abusive relationship with
that's weird.
Who would have thought? With also like with a worse narcissist.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there for her during her end of life, and I felt guilt and shame over that. I'm like, oh, some daughter, I am, like this.
Yeah.
Here it is.
I gotta stop you there, because everything that you're talking about is exactly what we were talking about with body image. It's society, right? And specifically, us here at the table, were given misinformation by misinformed people. And so you
true.
and I and
Very
everybody else that ends up in recovery, most of us ends up with that in our history. Exactly that. The misinformation. Because who told me that my sons can't have blue hair? The people that gave me that information in my childhood. Like, boys can't have blue hair. When my youngest son wanted to color his hair, what did I say? No. Boys don't color their hair. That's the information I was given. Same with you. Like
the culture and society.
Yeah, exactly. And so that shame and guilt, you step back today, big picture stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need to attach that to your life. Right?
No, and I think that the United States is definitely different from other like Eastern cultures, to where like it is their culture and society that when parents get to a certain age, then their offspring will take care of them. And I definitely believe that that is not the case here in the States. And when I hear people like, oh, I'm going to have kids so that way someone can take care of me when I'm older. And I'm always like,
Really?
like the one why do you think they're going to take care of you? Like that's not how things are done here. It's not. And I feel like it's a little unfair for you just to, spawn just so that way you're comfortable in life.
That's
Sorry.
so funny. No, full disclosure, my mom, who did not raise me, lives on our property. She has a granny unit that is on Jen and I's property. And so in a way, I do take care of my mom because I'm helping her out all the time. It wasn't an obligation. That's the key point. It was like, I've never actually got to know my mom. This is an opportunity to have a relationship with her. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting, right?
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to move on. We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Gosh, this is fantastic.
I know. So you give me a heads up if we're wrapping up here, if you need to take off or anything.
I have no life.
Okay.
You have a great life.
I'm living.
All right. Okay. So we're on to assets. So this is everybody's favorite topic to talk about. That was sarcasm, Steve. Sarcasm. I saw the look on Ree's face. She was sneering at me like, you better shut the fuck up. All right, so let's just name one. You name one of your own.
Asset.
Yeah, an asset.
Asset.
Do you need some time? We'll go to Joseph.
Yeah.
I have a really big heart, and I'm open-minded. I love everybody, even the bad people. I still love them. Like somebody was telling me the other day that I wasn't right because I pray for the devil sometimes. Like even that's a great asset of mine, that I'm open-minded and that I'm caring, that I have so much love in me. It's brought me nothing but goodness, and I wouldn't want to be any other way.
When I grow up, I want to be like you. No, I really do. I'm not just like making fun or talking shit. I'm actually, that's my goal, is to have that open heart like you do.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like even the people that are rude or mean or bad, like sometimes it upsets me, like everybody has their days or whatever, but almost instantaneously, my mind is like, I wonder what made them like that, you know. And then I'm thinking like, you know, like that's who they are, that's who they've become, you know.
Yeah.
I think it just has to go with open-mindedness.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't get there as fast, but
Yeah.
I get there because usually I'll cop the resentment. I'll get mad or angry, and then I'll do the 2-foot drop from my head to my heart. And in my heart, I'm like, damn, how much pain are they in to act that way?
Yeah.
Like, what are they scared of? You know, so the whole process takes me a minute.
What's funny is you said how yours changes, it comes to that, and I was thinking, you know, like mine's almost instantaneous there, but when I dwell on situations, it starts to go away from there, and I start like, man, why did they, you know, did they just single me out? Why did they do that to me, you know, or something like that? But yeah, so it goes the opposite for me, but I try not to dwell on anything these days. You know, like I know that it's unfruitful. It brings me nothing but
Yeah.
trouble.
Rent space in your head. Oh,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, I also was given that gift from my mother, the ability to open my heart and love. But I think my biggest asset is it's taken me a long time to be able to say my assets without feeling like I'm being boastful or anything, but I have this unique ability to create safety for people.
Oh, I love that.
And like, I think that people are attracted to that in me because they feel safe around me. It's just a weird, like, I've noticed over the years that it's something that it's just, I don't know really how to explain it. Maybe it's because I can love so easily or
I can give you some insight.
open. Yeah, go ahead.
Your authenticity has a lot to do with that.
Oh,
The fact that you are so authentic takes down walls in other people, and you let them in, or they let you in.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It really is. You are a safe person, and a lot has to do with how authentic you are.
So I think that's like my biggest asset and my ability to forgive. I don't like, there's been some horrendous things that have occurred in my past, and I don't believe that I've learned this here, like forgiveness is not for them, it's for me. Like I have this endless capacity to like clean slate from the gate. Like I will give you a second chance, you know, any day of the week. I don't feel the need to hold on to anything anymore. Like I feel like that's an asset because I used to like say, well, I'll forgive you, but I won't forget. But that holding on to the memory of why you're, you know, something happened is still like a form of, you know, unforgiveness. But I don't know. I just feel like there's no value in holding on to anything. I'd rather just let it slip from my mind and have a clean slate. But I will say that if somebody crosses the line with me more than twice, you know, or 3 times,
Punch him in the face.
I stopped punching people. But I will no longer allow them even in my outer circle.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
not safe.
There's no need to continue the dance, so to speak, of I'm going to forgive you, you're going to reoffend, I'm going to forgive you, you're going to reoffend. Because I realize at that point you might not be capable of change, you know, and I might be expecting too much of you in my forgiveness. So,
Well, I do agree with you as far as you being safe.
thank you.
Yeah.
I agree with me too.
We're back to you. You better have a good one.
You better. Sounds like a threat.
I know.
I'm feeling not
Or
safe.
what? I'm not afraid of anything. I am discerning.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And the definition for discernment is the ability to perceive, understand, and judge things, especially those that are not obvious or straightforward. And then another one would be like self-awareness / like intellectualize. Like I'm able to dive deep within myself and identify the feelings and thought patterns and the root of issues and how they were created and formed, and how to like what is the best plan of attack with the knowledge that I have now to move forward with these things and be able to look at things through a more rational and logical perspective than I was able to before.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's so there's like not a lot of people like you. When I say that,
Don't tell me that. We were just talking about personalities,
I
remember?
know, but I'm talking about an intellect that is in touch with their heart, right? So the thought process is very cohesive with your feelings.
Oh, yeah.
And that's amazing. You don't get to find that very often. A lot of people are one or the other, or struggle to get to both.
I feel like it's taken me like all of my life, really,
To get there?
Yeah, to get here. But just like,
So you weren't always like that?
well, no, when I was a child, like I didn't even know like
Feelings?
I felt them. You know, I was just this walking emotional wrecking ball that cried all the time, and I wasn't able to communicate. And like, you know, it's you know, in hindsight, knowing all the things that I know of myself now, it makes sense. And you know, being in special ed for 9 years and having the tools and applying the tools, and being in therapy and counseling and having the tools and applying the tools.
So a lot of work.
It is. And like same thing with like recovery, like everything that I have experienced in life, like has been an opportunity for me to learn and grow if that is what I choose and wish to do so. Because like the first time that I was in this program, like I didn't apply the tools to my life. I didn't do the work. And what happened? Like I went back out again.
Yeah.
And so in order for me to be where I'm at today is like, I have to do the work. I have to apply it. I like when like, oh, I was going to say something that I don't believe in. So getting into
You cut yourself.
I did. It's like this, I have to participate. Like no one's going to do it for me.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I like that. Well, I really admire the whole thought process and feelings that are very cohesive for you. All right, so so that's the assets. So let's share one thing that we're grateful for. I know we're grateful for like thousands and thousands of things. You just hugged who you're grateful for. Stephen hugged Joseph. But just share one thing that you're grateful for. And then if you can, like tie that into how you show your gratitude.
Wow.
Is that, you need a second?
So many things.
I know, but
right?
pick one. What's
If
the
it's
first thing you think of?
recovery based, I
Yeah.
would say that I am grateful to my NA family, my inner circle who supports me, the elephants around me who lift me up when I'm not feeling good. I'm really grateful that I've surrounded myself with solid, good people. Yeah.
That would be my
You
answer.
all are included in that.
Yeah, so when you say
Joseph, super addict.
yeah, Joseph, super addict. when you say say
feel
one
less than.
yeah, when you say
One.
we're all super addicts. if you're here in this seat, you're definitely a super addict. When I hear the word, say one thing that you're grateful for, I feel like one of those guys at the Emmy Awards, and they're like thanking everybody that did this and that. And no matter what I say that I'm grateful for, I feel like all the other things are gonna feel like they needed to be recognized too.
Well, pick one.
So
what's your favorite?
My favorite is a saying that one of my good friends told me, and he said, "Just be grateful your ass is not on fire." And
okay.
So whenever I think about like what am I grateful for, I have tons of things, big things.
We all do.
All of you guys are big things, but my one thing that I can always count on, and when I'm lying in bed, like, why do I want to get up? Like, I'm grateful my ass isn't on fire. I'm grateful I'm not in pain. I'm grateful that I'm alive.
All right. I dig that. That's good. Grateful your ass is not on fire. All right.
I just want to say a whole bunch of inappropriate things.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Trying to be good.
I know this is being recorded.
This podcast is rated R.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's got the explicit mark
now
on it.
you should have started us off with that.
Right.
Yeah. It would have been a whole different.
What are you grateful
Different
for?
job.
Felicio. What are you talking about?
Great.
You mean I didn't have to have these clothes on?
Hey. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my God and the relationship that I have with them. Like, really, that's number one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more, which I'm thankful because 2 years ago I couldn't even like a gratitude list. I couldn't even do it. So there was nothing to put on it. And now, like, there's way more. So
That brings me to another question. Can you briefly share your spirituality with us?
well, it depends. Like, absolutely. I'm not ashamed of my spirituality. What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, like, what is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Not like
okay.
the big thing.
I follow and practice the ways of Jesus. That's what I do.
All right.
That's what I am. Yeah.
Cool. So would you say Christian?
Is
that not a good word?
I don't like using that word.
Then don't.
I don't. And the reason why I don't like using that word is because so many people in our culture and society have a completely different view from each other of what Christianity is.
I love you.
My God is Jesus.
Okay.
And everything that he did, I'm a believer in, and it is my responsibility. I believe myself to be an apprentice of some sort to Jesus, and to live in this life and to interact with people as if he would.
Perfect. I love it. Perfect. So that's very good.
It actually makes sense too, because the word Christian just came from after he passed, and all the people that followed Christ and started making churches, and it was actually the Romans that started calling them Christians.
Yep, and that means little Christs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to say, off the topic of religion, that I am super grateful for my sister in recovery too, because she helps raise my son, and she's always there when I can't get him. She's always there after school to pick him up, and she's always there for me in any capacity I need, and I'm very, very grateful for her as well.
Okay.
So I had to throw her in there. Her name's Cindy, and she's wonderful. I love her.
She's great.
We love her.
Yeah, big fans.
All right. Big fan. So briefly, your spirituality.
My spirituality has come a long ways. I'm going to make it brief. Okay.
What's it today? What's it today?
Okay.
Right now, today.
Yeah, I follow Jesus. I follow Jesus, but like Reese said,
No buts.
Well, then you can't even really call it that. I mean, you can, but you it's so much more than that. It really is. But I grew up with no religion,
Okay.
never been to church until late 20s. never even heard the word God mentioned until early 20s. You know, like all my stuff was self. You know, the things that happened in my life, the researches that I did, the prayers that I did, the seeking that I did, all led me to Jesus. And you know, I have my own take on it, and
Perfect.
and that's where I'm at. You know,
Cool.
I'm a believer.
All right. I love it.
I've never not believed in Jesus. I was raised with him. My mother, I practiced Buddhism for 20 years, but in Buddhism, you can believe in both things. And I think Buddha was a teacher that came to teach us not to suffer in this world. And I learned a lot from practicing Buddhism, but I never stopped believing in the teachings of Christ. And when my second husband had cancer, he wanted us to get baptized. And so I was confirmed as a Lutheran, but I'm not, I never have had a belief in the Bible itself other than the teachings of Christ. It's really hard for me to accept it as it's written for many, many reasons, but primarily because it was written 5,000 years ago by a bunch of white guys, you know, and
Who we think were white.
well, whatever color they were, by a bunch
exactly.
of in a patriarchal society, and I just, you know, Jesus came to teach us how to give back to mankind, how to feed the hungry, how to love, how to forgive people, all of those things like are principles that I can 100% stand behind, you know. But when we get off into the passages about stoning our own daughter for not being a virgin or all those other things, I don't believe that was divinely inspired by any sense of the word. So, yeah, I'm a Christian. I believe that early Christians just did the work of Christ. They fed the hungry, they healed the sick, they did the things that Christ would do. And then somehow it morphed into like a crazy religion that like became obsessed with money and power. And I can't stand behind it as a religion. But I
Okay.
am a Christian.
Well, that's what's so cool about the diversity of our program is we all get the opportunity to believe whatever we want, right?
And love each other and accept each
I love
other.
other religions too. Like
Yeah.
it's not like I can't take from them. Like some of the Sikhism is beautiful. Like what they believe is beautiful.
Or there are people in our program that are agnostic or atheist.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're still part of our family. I have a few in my circle. I follow the practice of Buddhism. I know a priest. I met a priest who practices Buddhism.
Right.
A
My
Christian
mother was
priest.
a Christian who practiced witchcraft.
See,
So I mean, like, you can't.
Yeah.
We are a diverse, you know. I mean, people. We can believe multiple things.
but our program accepts everybody. Okay, the last thing. Normally we would tell us one crazy story, but we're not going to do that.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
10 o'clock.
we might. The last thing I'd like to ask is, have you today been in touch with your practice? What I mean by that is, are you currently in touch with your Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous or 12-step program? Is it a consistent thing for you?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I do my spiritual time in the morning. I go to the gym, come back, have a cup of coffee, and then I do my spiritual time. And then when I'm done with reading the word, then I go to the basic text. And then depending on how I'm feeling, then I'll do my my traditions work. And so that's an everyday thing, and then I will touch base in with some sponsees and my sponsor, and so yeah, my life revolves around spiritual formation, recovery, gym, and mental health. Like that is like
Beautiful.
that is
Excellent.
yeah.
Joseph.
I have this belief that if you read literature, spend some time in prayer, I would say memorize some literature, and then share by teaching other people. But just sharing your story with somebody that's questioning is teaching, and
This is what you do.
yes, and then going to meetings, right? There's those 5 areas of my recovery. And I believe that if I put a balance on all of those, my life is going to go perfect. Not perfect, but as well as I can hope.
Yeah.
And whenever I start feeling anger or resentment or shame or guilt or any negative stuff, I look at those areas and I see what am I lacking in. Right, and I can usually be like, oh, I haven't been reading, I haven't been praying, and so I'll put those back into the mix, and my life will get back on track again.
So you take an inventory of what you haven't been doing, and you then incorporate it back into your daily routine.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's not so much a daily routine. It's like you do the daily inventory, but it's like over a week or a month,
But bottom line,
line
you are
today.
connected to your recovery today, and
Yes,
you're
yes.
still in a practice.
Yeah, today I shared my story with 2 guys that are not in recovery. They don't have problems, but maybe they will one day, and they heard a story of somebody that got better.
All right.
And
Cool.
yeah.
Steve?
It's really interesting. I took a walk with our safety officer the other day, who's a war vet, and he asked me about my recovery, and I talked to him about, shooting dope at 15 and the course that it took me on, and he disclosed to me some stuff about his addiction in his family and the loss they've suffered. And it's interesting how we can connect to somebody who seemingly isn't connected to our life and still connect through the disease of addiction, the family disease of addiction. And I forget the question.
You're still connected to your program today. It's still a practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk to at least a sponsee a day, if not more. I belong to a text chat group where sometimes it's about recovery, a lot of times about fantasy football, but it is some of the best guys in our area that we all chat throughout the day. I dropped my 7th step today, which was great. Felt like a weight had been lifted off of me. And I also did this podcast, so that's how I've stayed connected today.
All right. The reason I ask is because, when the listeners, if they feel that they're not connected, they hear your experiences and they go, okay, those are the things I need to keep doing.
Go to meetings, get a sponsor, talk to your sponsor, work the steps, be of service, have a relationship with a higher power, seek outside help if you need it, and read your literature.
Seek outside help if you need it.
That's right. That's an important
Very,
one.
very important if you need it. So it's not a shame and guilt thing if we seek outside help. I love that you brought that up. All right, everybody. I really appreciate you guys doing a redo.
Yeah, we had fun. I had fun. I'll speak for me.
I feel like last time we were high off the tack and we were way more vibrant and laughy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I do.
When she said high off attack, don't think that's a new drug.
Oh, sorry.
Convention.
TAC is a
Tri-area convention.
We were excited about the convention we were at. The convention is called
Sorry.
TAC.
Yeah, it was in Eureka. And we did it in a penthouse. The
Yes.
first penthouse I've ever been in. It was beautiful. Oh my gosh. But I feel like we were just so just vibrant.
We were
and
having
now,
a vibe. We
We
definitely
were,
were,
and
yeah.
now I'm just like, oh, we're all somber and just.
You know what? This time, you guys went deep. Deep. It was good. I'm sorry. What'd you whisper?
That's what she said.
Oh, this is rated R, you know. So yeah, that's what she said. You guys went deep. So thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate you being here and being part of this community. Just a quick heads up before we wrap. The people we talk to on this show are just sharing their own personal stories. They do not speak for any specific recovery program or group. It's just their experience, strength, and hope. Well, that's it for now, and please remember that you can follow us on any of your streaming platform that you listen to, and somewhere in there on that streaming platform there is a donate button if you care to help out with our monthly fees that we have to pay to produce each episode, and there's a follow button. There's also somewhere on your streaming platform you can text us and send us a response or email or check-in. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.